So I started the stream. So in a few seconds, I think we should be online, and maybe someone in the comments can confirm. Let me refresh. I think we're good, hopefully. Yeah, we are. And we are online. So, Chris,
It's true. Ah,
hey, thank you so much again for accepting my invitation.
oh,
Obviously, the people who already know you, you are Chris. You've been doing a lot of EV stuff on YouTube, and for me at least, it was very interesting to see the whole manual of the ID3, and I really liked it. So I
thank
think you that one got a lot of coverage, and also others, the things that you did. So thank you again so much for accepting the invitation.
you. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
From my side, I'm kind of doing the same, but obviously a lot more smaller, and I don't have access to top secret documents like you.
I don't have to. Don't always have that.
But yeah, so from my side, my name is Norbert, and I have a really small YouTube channel dedicated to electric cars, and trying to inform people about like charging and different cables and how to calculate stuff and stuff like that. But also test drives, and whenever I get a car, I do a video. So yeah, kind of the both, and yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
It's been 1 year, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. Yeah, yeah, 1 year.
I'm going, I'm going on 2 years in June or July.
Mm.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, somebody like after doing it for like 6 months, somebody asked me, like a close friend, I think, like, okay, but why EVs? Like, well, how did you find this passion? And I started thinking like, that's a good question. I don't remember when did I start like thinking about EVs. And then I started because I have the Google Photos and everything is backed up.
Yeah.
You can just search like keywords and it will just give you pictures of the keywords. And I typed in cars and I scrolled back all the way to like 2015, 14, and I saw pictures of Nissan Leafs. I saw pictures of like random plug-in hybrids charging, and well, I think it was always there. But yeah, I also started a YouTube channel, so
Yeah. For me, it was done when I drove the Hyundai Ioniq for the first time, which was 2 years ago. I
did
drove
how
it
did that
after.
happen? How did that happen?
Oh, so I was interested in electric cars because of I was watching normal fossil cars,
Hmm.
and I was always interested in the more expensive cars, so Bugatti or whatever, McLaren and stuff like this, and just to watch, of course. And I watched. I don't know if you know the car YouTube channel Salomondrin. He's a guy in LA, and
Mm,
he had many cars and blah blah
mm,
blah. But he
no.
he bought a Tesla Model X, and he
Okay.
showed the screen and everything. And thought, wow, that's amazing to have such possibility in a car. And then I don't know, 2 months later, I went to a dealership nearby and asked for if they have the Hyundai Ioniq, and they had it. And then I drove off the lot, and I was in love with it.
Mm.
The total quietness, and then accelerating for the first time, and it's not a powerful car,
Yeah. No.
100 kilowatt motor, but it just felt so amazing that you feel acceleration and instant acceleration with no gear change and no sound, and just,
Yeah.
and I fell in love, and I was, this is what I want to have at some point if I can afford it. Still
Um,
working on that goal.
yeah. Still working on the affordable part.
Exactly.
Same for me. But also, I started like I was always into cars, and like 2014, 15, Tesla started to come around, and they had this Model S, and YouTube was just, at least in my feed, because it depends on what you watch, but my feed was full of like this drag races, let's say,
Yeah.
between the Model S and different like sports cars, and it was beating everything. And I was like, what? How how is that possible? It doesn't have an engine in the front. It doesn't have an engine in the back. It has 5 seats, like plenty of storage, and it's like faster than a Porsche or a Ferrari. So yeah, and then I
That's
think in
impressive.
2015, I was in Belgium. I was in visiting some friends, and there was a Tesla dealership there. And well, I couldn't drive the car, but there was the Tesla out. There was the Tesla that you could sit into, and this whole screen, and it was full of gadgets. And there's also a skateboard, the platform without the skin exposed, put in the showroom, and it was like so fascinating to see. That's the whole car. The rest is just like doesn't really matter. That's everything there, and it's so small, so efficient. So yeah, that's my journey.
No, it's
Okay.
impressive. It's true.
Hopefully we have some people from the
12 people. One disliked. Get out.
hopefully we have some ID3 Romanian pre-bookers because a lot of questions came from the Romanian Facebook group. So hopefully they are online and watching. I know there's something going on TV right now. Hopefully that's not more important.
What's going on?
Something like X Factor or something like a
Us-
talent show.
no, I thought like big news, like
No,
Romania is opening again, and
Chris has low volume.
I have low volume.
Let me try to fix that. Okay, and I'll put mine down. Okay, maybe that fixes it.
Does it
So I was thinking to try to respond to some of the questions that the Romanian pre-bookers kind of gave me in preparation to this live stream. There were quite a few questions that continued to be were appearing again and again, but there were like 4 or 5 that were you can categorize it into main categories. So a lot of people were interested in the interior because yeah, probably they have a more expensive car or a decently expensive car at the moment, and they're going to pay a lot more money for the ID3. So they don't necessarily want to go down in quality, all the aspects of the quality, but they were asking mostly about the interior plastics. Is the
Mm,
dashboard made of like hard plastic? Is
yeah.
it I don't know. So I think you've drove the car, you sat in it. So
I've sat in it a few times. So I was at the Frankfurt Motor Show and sat in a few. They had like 9 ID3s there, and I sat in the back, in the front, and touched everything and filmed everything. And then I was invited to Dresden by VW to a pre-booking event where 150 people over 2 days or maybe even 3 days, can't remember, could drive the car for 10 minutes. And there was a dummy ID3 there that was not working, so I had no power where I could sit in. And then there was a one that couldn't drive but was working inside. Was in Dresden at the transparent factory that they did explaining how everything will work, how the screen works. And I know that a lot of people are disappointed with the interior, and I get it. If you come from a fossil burning car that costs 50,000 euros, then it looks cheap. That's true. So so the interior is a mix of hard plastic and the soft vegan leathery stuff, and for me, the positioning of it is very well done. So the doors where you have your elbow on it, this is soft.
okay.
And then you have your armrest on the right, this is soft. This is more of a fabric, or was it? Maybe this had the vegan leather on there too. I can't remember. But the front, so the whole dashboard, is most of it is hard plastic, and people don't like that.
Okay.
And it's a different interior than the e-Golf, for example. It's totally different made, and some people will think that for in their opinion that it doesn't look as valuable as e-golf and other thing, and I get this, but
Okay, so
I come from very cheap, horrible cars. For me, it's fine.
so that's what I wanted to ask if you can compare it to the e-golf because the Golf is well, at least the seventh generation and now the eighth generation is quite a comfortable car and has really good materials. So you would say that it's not as good as a materials
I haven't seen the new Golf. I drove the e-Golf with the 33, 32 something
32, I think.
kilowatt hour battery, and I liked it a lot. The seats in the e-Golf, uh, I wouldn't say that they're better or worse. They're just for me they help me in place more. So I felt like they were fitting me a tiny bit better, but I was also scared that in the summer I would sweat like crazy.
Okay.
So in all together I prefer the ID3 seats. Um, again, I understand that the plastic look is for some people a bit weird, but what they have to think of is the difference between e-golf and ID3 is that there are no buttons. The e-golf is full of buttons, so
Yeah.
everywhere where in the ID3 you put some hard plastic, there would be a button in the e-golf, and you're fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Okay.
screen with 5 buttons underneath, and on the left is the lights with haptic buttons. So it's not even a real button, it's just you touch it and then something happens.
Yeah.
So, and then on the steering wheel, and that's it. The whole middle, no buttons. Under the screen, no buttons. On the ceiling you have the light, which is also touch
Touch. Yeah.
sensitive, not a button. So there are, it's not Tesla Model 3 where there's one button in the whole car and then on the steering wheel, but it's they went for a similar design, but not to the extreme that Tesla did, and I prefer that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So plastics. Well, it depends. Like you said, I think it depends on what car have you been driving before, and but yeah, given the price of the car, you it's understandable that people
Totally.
have some higher
Yeah,
expectations, I guess.
yeah. I get
But
that.
I think you're paying more for the performance um, because of the big battery and the whole platform is new and everything. So it's a premium, I guess.
I mean, I understand the people too. When Volkswagen started with the ID family and especially the ID3, they said this car will be the connection point between gasoline cars, diesel cars, and electric cars. But until now, just batteries and everything costs just way more than building a fossil car, and so they had to save at some point.
Hmm.
So like the dash and board and everything, and yes, if you come from a 50,000 euro gasoline car, the ID3 will feel cheaper when you sit in it, but when you drive it, not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
because
for sure.
basically it's there's less vibration, less noise, and I'm sure they did a really good job of the handling and everything else. So
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
so yeah, talking about the handling, um, you obviously also drove the car during that test drive for pre-bookers and stuff. And people did ask about all the test drive stuff. What was it like to drive? Was there a lot of wind noise? How was the suspension, the steering, stuff like that? So basically, if you could give us a short feedback about how was the test drive.
Yeah. So, I mean, the test drive was extremely short. It was a 5 minute round, and I did it twice. So
Okay.
I had 10 minutes in the car, and there was an instructor from Volkswagen on the side because it was a prototype, and we were on a closed racetrack, so the car was not allowed to drive on public road except with someone who has a prototype license. You need this
Mm-hmm.
special license. And I looked into it because I asked them if I can have a car and do the testing with it. And they said, yes, if you have a license. And I don't have a license. It costs a
So
fortune.
is that complicated to get?
Yeah, and no, it's not complicated, but it costs a fortune, and you have to know driving. So you have to do extreme tests when the
Oh, so it's
car
like
cannot be handled. So
yeah.
sliding and emergency stuff. You have to know how to drive, and it costs 10,000 euros or something.
Hmm.
It's a two-level thing, but it doesn't matter. But it was just a 10-minute thing, and what we did is we drove out to that racetrack, then accelerated hard, then tried to drive without regen and with regen, so in D or in B.
Hmm.
Then we went into it is a racetrack that is on the side like this,
Yeah,
so you
it's like
go
banked. Yeah.
exactly like banks. So we went through that with 120, 130 or something. Then we slowed down and drove through, did some cornering testing in with
Like a slalom.
exactly. So and she pushed us really hard and said, "Come on, this it works
Really?
faster." Yeah,
Really?
but I
Oh,
was
that's
driving
good.
way too slow. The guy that was with me, and we changed, and then I was in the car where the other guy was driving 10 minutes, and he drove it way faster. He was better than me.
Mm.
um, then we stopped, did a turning circle exercise a few times around little circles, and then we went back, and this was one round, and we did it twice. And right, what I noticed right away, and I said it in all my videos, so the ride is extremely comfortable. It's not Audi e-tron, Jaguar I-Pace level, but they are cars that they cost double,
Yeah.
but way more than e-Golf, Ioniq, Kona, stuff like this. It felt amazingly safe, amazingly comfortable, quiet. Wind noise was amazingly quiet. Even tire noise, even though the road wasn't wet, but it was a bit damp.
Hmm.
Um, um, so I wouldn't know how it is in wet, but of course when the road is wet, it's always a bit worse with noise. And what we did is, like I said, did the full acceleration, and this is where I was hooked on the rear wheel drive. Before I was the same as a lot of people. Why is it rear wheel drive? It sounds weird. Nobody does that. All the Hyundais and whatever, Renault, Zoe, all had front wheel drive. And I drove the Kona and e-Niro and e-Soul and all of those cars. And I always noticed when you do hard acceleration, then you get that torque vectoring, and it
Yeah.
means that the steering wheel feels like the car is moving
Yeah.
somewhere,
Left or right.
and you don't have control over it. You feel
Mm.
unsafe. You think the car is doing something, and I don't know, except for taking a foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what do I do with 200 horsepower if I can accelerate full in sport mode?
That's something that the i3 does. The
Uh,
BMW i3.
mm,
So also it has like narrow tires and about I think about 170 horsepower if you get the base model, and then
mhm.
185 or something like that if you get the S model. But if you like accelerate hard, you can feel it like usually it goes to the left or something like
So
that.
it
And
really moves around.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. So with the Kona, it didn't move around, so
It,
that I had to stop.
you can actually have to like do compensating from the wheel, and
Really?
yeah.
Okay. No, no. With the Kona, I noticed that it felt weird, but it didn't move around. I didn't have to steer against
Well,
anything.
you definitely have to you have to pay attention to it. It's not like floor it and then you can just leave the wheel and
Okay. No, with this with the ID3, what I felt, I did it twice, and then again with the other guy twice. It just goes. So if you, it's not the amazingly powerful acceleration as in the Tesla. It's not Model S, Model 3, Model X feeling, but it goes without uh, um, um, wheel spinning or anything weird movement. It just goes.
Mhm.
And what I also noticed, and this is a big thing, and I thought about it afterwards, of course, you barely hear the motor because the motor is only in the back, and there's a lot of stuff between you and the motor. There are two seats,
Yeah.
the whole trunk, the front motor in Kona and everything. You hear that? It's not
Yeah.
some it's not
You
disturbing or anything.
yeah.
Totally fine. But here it's way more quiet, and you just go, and it was a very nice feeling. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
The
So
steering feel was also torque vectoring. Something said it's not.
Torque
It's not
steer. It's torque steer. Yeah.
torque vectoring. Okay. Um, what I want to say? Steering
Steering.
was also amazing. I liked the weight of the steering and how the steering wheel feels. With the Model 3, for example, the steering wheel sometimes feels a bit like a toy.
Like it's not
Like
connected really to the.
no, that like it's a tiny bit too small.
Mm,
And for example, in Model S, it's extremely thick, the
yeah.
steering wheel. But this was just fine to me. But I don't think it's a completely different new steering wheel. But the steering feel was very nice. I liked it a lot.
Okay. And did you notice, like when you go on to high speeds, that the steering gets harder, and then when you go in slow speeds, it's like really easy to
I'm
move.
pretty sure it does it, but I can't remember. This
You can't
was
remember. Okay.
it was twice for like 20 seconds that I drove above 100 kilometers an hour. I know a different guy drove 170 with the car because those prototypes don't have the limiter on it, the speed limiter that
Okay.
the final version will have. Um, but I'm sure it does that because every car in Volkswagen has that in there, and I'm
Yeah. New
pretty sure
car.
it
Yeah.
does the same thing. But it was suspension, steering, grip, stability. Like I said, this is all grip is amazing because of the rear wheel drive. Stability was also amazing. Acceleration, like I said, it's not Tesla. It's nowhere near. So every Model 3 long range dual motor is way more powerful. I mean, it's what does it have? 250
Um,
kilowatt or something, even 300.
I don't know. I only drove a single. What is it? It wasn't a dual drive. It was the standard
Ooh, never drove that.
version. It was imported from US. So the very first model that they don't even produce anymore, I think.
Oh,
So it was rear wheel drive and extended battery or something like that.
uh,
They don't produce it anymore.
I know.
So
It was the most efficient one, yeah.
I think it's the most efficient one. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Mm, yeah.
people
So
were upset about Tesla not producing it anymore.
yeah. But it's again, it wasn't that same power, but it was enough. It's 204
Yeah.
horsepower. It feels like that. It felt the acceleration felt like Kona E Niro, and so they also have 150 kilowatt. So it's really good. What I felt was just the grip and the stability was way better than in other cars, and I know that they know that too. That's why they chose that course.
Okay.
That's why they
Well.
wanted us to accelerate hard and feel that it's fine and feel
Mhm.
stable. Then go through do that slalom thing, so they know that.
Well, you would expect from Volkswagen to have basic stuff like this, like pretty much perfectly
Yeah,
tuned,
yeah.
because
Somebody's saying that the ID3 interior is made of recycled materials. I have no idea if they do that. I don't know. I know
uh,
that Renault is doing that in a new Zoe.
Renault is doing that in the newest Zoe, and
Hmm.
also BMW has been doing it in the i3
That's true, but I
forever.
don't know if Volkswagen is doing that. I
Hmm.
wouldn't know that.
Okay.
It's possible, but I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Um,
It was the slalom then. Um, Again, I didn't do it too fast. But you also don't use this car for on a racetrack. But it felt stable. That was the important thing. It didn't quick, quick,
yeah,
quick.
yeah.
It was just like this, and it felt good. I felt comfortable in my seat. That was my impression. I didn't roll around in the seat. It didn't. It held me in place. That was nice. Uh, a regen is strong enough in B. There are no levels. A lot of people
No levels.
are mad that not like the e-Golf you still have regen levels. No, in D it's coasting unless like we saw in the manual you have the eco assistant
Eco
on,
assist. Yeah.
then it does an auto regen. but and in B is one set regen level. It's strong enough, but it's not Kona like. Kona has a very strong regen, and I love that.
So, does it have creep? Do you know if it has creep? So
Yeah,
does it,
I think so.
so so does it, can you one pedal drive it basically?
No,
Because, no,
no, the regen
because,
is not as strong that you can do that. But the good thing is, like Tesla, this is a updatable car.
yeah,
So if a lot of people want that, I'm pretty sure it's possible. With a 150 kilowatt motor, you can do that. The only problem what they have with rear wheel drive is that the regen cannot be extremely strong on the rear wheels, otherwise the car gets unstable. In the front wheels, you can do that. So
okay.
when you do normal braking, I learned that at the pre-booking
I
event.
didn't know this. Yeah,
When you
good
do very
info.
strong braking in a normal car, most of the brake force is in the front, not in the back. Otherwise, the car gets unstable. And that's why when you have front wheel drive, you can use more regen in the back. But
Yeah,
I don't know where the limit is.
it makes sense because when you brake, the car nose dives, the nose goes down, and because the majority of the braking is done in the front. Also, your front disc brakes are usually a lot bigger than the ones in the back. So if you brake from the back, and yeah, it can get
This
messy.
they told me that, and that's why the regen on the rear wheel drives can never be as strong as a front wheel drive car.
But
It felt okay to me, but it's not near a one pedal drive, and
I
I'm sad
think
about that.
I I think they can do some kind of like software trickery where once the real wheels can't apply so much force, they would also automatically brake the front wheels without you doing anything. So this way they could like
It's an
try to
idea.
do some kind of one pedal
It's an
driving.
idea, and it's not bad as well. I've seen it so many times where EVs they use only regen as much as possible, never use the real brakes, and
Yeah,
then they start to rust because they get wet, but never break, and therefore when they don't break, the water is not being vaporized,
evaporated. Yeah, yeah.
evaporated. Thank you. And so they are wet the whole time, and then the black plates start to rust.
Yeah, I saw that recently, yesterday or today in a
Exactly,
video.
with rich
Rich
rebuilds.
rebuild, yeah,
Exactly.
exactly,
I mean, I've seen
exact.
it. See, we
Yeah,
learned together.
this morning I think I saw it,
Yeah, maybe the same. Yeah,
or yesterday he posted
there's
about the
something like
Model
this.
X. Yeah,
The B mode is for one pedal drive, and it is 0.2 G force. It's possible, but when I drove that prototype, the B mode, it was good regen, but not that you can easily stop when there's a stop sign or anything.
I
You'll have to.
really hope. I mean, yeah, I drove um I drove the Nissan Leaf that had one pedal driving. I
It's
drove the
amazing.
Yeah, I drove the i3, the BMW that had one pedal driving, and I drove these two cars the most, and I got so used to it
Uh,
that I really,
this
if
it's the next step. I mean, we lost the gear changes. We lost like all automatic cars, the clutch, and now to lose the brake unless it's an emergency.
yeah,
That's the next step. It's just amazing.
you lose. I mean, you still have access to the lights, but they come on automatically. Same with the
You
wipers.
don't do anything anymore.
Yeah. Also, you said in the manual, I remember you pointed out that there's no handbrake, not even a button for it.
No. When you
No.
press, when you put it in park, the handbrake goes on automatically, and if
Yeah.
you put it in
So
drive, then
no handbrake turns in the winter.
no, nothing. No, but most EVs you can do it, but I don't think even in an Ionic when you have it in drive and you press the parking brake, I don't think it goes on unless you put it
No,
in
the handbrake turn died
a long time.
once the buttons came along. So
You
you
can
can
do it
only
with the e-up. E-up has a normal handbrake.
yeah. Also the Nissan Leaf has a normal handbrake.
Cool. The old one or the new one?
The new one.
Really?
Yeah,
I can't remember. I had it for
that's
two
how I
days.
remember it. Maybe I'm
That's very possible. It's been a while. It's been a while. No, this I missed. The regen could be stronger.
oh no,
I loved
sorry.
I loved the
Um,
Kona with its regen. That was my thing.
No, the new one has electronic.
Oh,
The old one I think has
okay.
the just the.
That was fun.
But anyway,
Sorry. Mm, no.
okay. So what else?
The last point. Then we did the turning circle, and like Volkswagen is very proud of that. That's why they did this. I mean, their famous quote is drives like like an up because it had the turning
Hmm.
circle. Um, a space as a Passat because the inside is just so big. As much space inside for the passengers as a Passat, and power like a GTI because of 204 horsepower. That was the slogan when we were
So
there.
it's like three cars in one.
Exactly, and it's true.
But no roof rack like a Passat.
No, that's true. They you know, I don't know why. For me, it doesn't matter. I don't need that. The same as with the tow hook. I couldn't care less. I never towed anything in my life. I never owned a car with a towing hook. But a lot of people are mad because of that.
Now let
And
me.
I think that the main reason for that is has to do with weight with a car category. That's how they told me.
So because of the battery, it's already quite heavy, and then if you put more stuff on top, it would be too heavy, maybe.
No, it has to do with structure. So the I think when you have a car at a special size, then it cannot be too heavy for some reason, for some regulation, and that's why, for example, the big battery car can only seat four people, not five.
Ah, I
So,
didn't
so
know that.
if we ever buy the 77 kilowatt hour,
So there's no middle
can you show
seat.
the black cat? I've been told to show the cat.
Hey.
There it is. Here's my Finnegan's. So the 77 kilowatt hour battery will never have a panoramic roof, will not have the bike rack, and
Not
will
even the
not
bike rack. Oh my
no,
god.
and it will not have more than 4 seats because of weight restrictions. That is some regulation that we don't know, but this is how Volkswagen explained it to me. So I don't know. This is a car this size, and it cannot be more weight than whatever. And with the big battery, it's just so heavy. The same with the e-up. The e-up can only sit 4 people.
So
There's
is
no
there
there's no
no
seatbelt in the
middle
middle.
seat for the
No
77
seatbelt
kilowatt?
in the middle seat.
Okay, interesting.
I didn't know that until I got it, and then I was, huh. So the same. It's a smaller car, and it's already with that battery. I mean, the e-up with that battery, I'm sure weighs what, I don't know, 12, 1300 kilos, maybe more.
So I'm just putting on the screen the bicycle carrier because I want to discuss this bicycle carrier. Let me just
That
put it on the screen real quickly. So I have your original stream on the screen, and you were showing here that there can be some bicycle carriers attached somewhere behind the license plate. Now, I do remember that for Teslas, you can buy like a, obviously most Teslas, not all of them, but especially the Model X, you cannot put a roof rack because of the doors.
hmm
And so you can put like a back box on the tow hitch.
hmm
So I was thinking, because this looks like a tow hitch, you cannot tow with it, but you could put like a box on it.
I'm pretty sure if somebody, so Volkswagen will not build this, but if a third party
Yeah, third party, yeah.
company will build something like this, I'm pretty sure this will work.
Because basically it's just a tow hitch. It's pretty much a standard. And then you have the weight limitation. As long as it's not more than the weight limitation, I see no problem. It's a
50,
bike. It's a,
55 kilo is the thing, and
yeah,
I've seen the bike rack a few times. And you can fold it back and everything. And by the way, what you see here, that fold down the number plate. So the number plate, I don't know if the holder is right behind there. I don't know if there was a picture of that. How I didn't
mm,
look exactly how you can put that in.
I don't
Oh,
think
look, Somebody said Volkswagen already has announced a luggage box for the hitch.
Oh, okay. So people already know about this.
Yeah, yeah, that's he's there. Michael Fisher. He's also always on my streams. He knows a lot. He's I don't know if he works for Volkswagen.
Mm.
He never says. I always ask, and he never says anything. But he knows stuff,
Okay.
or he's an amazingly big fan because he knows a lot of Volkswagen.
Maybe he's just looking at all details, every
That's
rumor.
possible. That's
But
possible.
let me just search for Model X back box just to show it. But maybe people already saw it. But basically, let me put it on the screen. It's yeah, something like this. I saw it not only on Model X. It's you can buy it for any car basically.
I'm pretty sure this will work here too. I mean, it's
Also,
just weight limitation and whatever you put
the
on
Model
there.
3.
If it's allowed to be on a car, then you can put that on. I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
Again, I don't see the need for me. I think the car has enough space inside. Even the trunk. The trunk again has the 2 levels, and you can fold and take out the first level. There's a lot of videos about the trunk is way more space than so very similar to. Now he's see the Michael Fischer commented again. He's doing the what was I saying? Yeah, so the ID3 trunk should be around the same size as Golf, but the space for the passengers is way more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, obviously you cannot attach a proper roof rack, but you can at least. I don't know if you saw anything like this, but there are like for skis you can buy magnetic ski racks.
I only read in the manual that you can see too that the structure of the car is not built to have any weight up there.
I mean,
So
like 2 skis barely weigh anything, so
you can do everything you want,
yeah,
but Volkswagen will tell you don't do it.
yeah, that's true.
Do you know when VW will announce the Passat full electric? They already did. That's
The
that's
ID,
Vision Space something.
yeah. I posted on my Instagram about it. Let me just um,
I mean,
space ID
announced
also.
doesn't mean that they will building it, but pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean it looks really good. Let me just put it on the screen.
If you need a lot of space, this is your thing. And it looks like that's the size of the car. This will have a frunk. ID3 doesn't have space for it because the bonnet is just so
I
tiny.
really wish more companies would do the frunk because try to just put everything on the side and just put like at least
It's not that easy. Have you seen the inside of the ID3, the front? How it looks like?
no, I haven't seen
You
it.
can see it in one of my videos when you pull it up. It's in the vlog of the ID3 pre-booker thing, and it's just full. There's just so much stuff in there from I mean, of course, fluid for the windshield, and then cooling for the battery, the battery, the 12-volt battery, and fuse box and stuff like this. It's just that the car is designed, and you can see it from the side that the front part is just so small. They could have fit a frunk in there, but it would not even hold a handbag. And there's still reserved space for the software for the hardware for autonomy driving
Oh
level
yeah,
3.
that they'll put more stuff in the future
Yeah,
over
and
there.
that's why there is the charging port is not in the front, it's in the back.
I know, for example, the i3 has a frunk. You shouldn't really open it all that much because it's really small. But at least the cable fits inside. If both your charging cables, both the 220 volts and the Type 2, you can fit them inside, and at least you don't have to. Especially when they're wet, you don't want to put them next to your luggage, maybe, or next to your. So that's all I'm asking, like a small.
Yeah. In the ID3, I understand it. When I saw the car and I opened the thing, then I knew no way that they would put anything in there. But when they will build something like the car you just showed, where there is a front part,
Hmm.
then of course they have space for that.
Hopefully,
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure.
Tesla also has a lot of stuff in the front because if you take out the front trunk
Oh,
plastic, you can see there's a lot of stuff there, but they just put everything on the side.
yeah. No, there's still a lot in there, and you can see it. But the difference is from the car. What the front is, the ID3 is just way narrower in the
Yeah, it's
front.
the front from the windshield to the front of the car. There's not a lot of space.
It's just there's nothing,
Nothing.
and that's why nothing can fit in the front.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No way. Can you see that?
So
I mean,
no.
other cars like the Kona, they just it was just a fossil car changed into electric, and that's why.
What about the Nissan Leaf? They don't have
That's
any.
true. A Leaf is weird.
Leaf is weird because, like, they could have
Yeah.
moved
Same
some
with the
stuff.
Zoe. Zoe too.
Yeah.
But the Zoe that they didn't want it to make it that high, so that they put the battery in the bottom and everything electronic in the front.
The Zoe is not very big, but the Leaf is big. It's like
Yeah,
a Golf
that's
7
true.
or like a Golf, normal sized Golf. I
Yeah,
think they should have
yeah,
um, done a better job, let's say, like that, with the
yeah.
space
They just didn't
management.
focus on that. I'm pretty sure it's just cheaper to
Oh,
have
yeah.
the structure similar to a gasoline car and then just put everything in the front before they start. Okay, when we put it down there and make this a bit smaller, maybe this would fit. And the weird thing is with the Leaf that it has doesn't have battery cooling, so there should even be more space.
Let's not even talk about not.
Yeah, we know.
Okay. Nobody asked this on on the Facebook group, but um, I was interested because probably you know we discussed this yesterday. Um, some Volkswagen and Skoda models. Hello. Some Volkswagen and Skoda models have special options available. I think only for certain countries. It might be for every country in Europe. I have no actual details about this, but for Romania, definitely you can order Skodas, maybe even Audis and Volkswagens with an option. It's something like bad roads option. That's what it's called when you translate it into Romanian. And a lot of people, when they buy new Volkswagen models, it doesn't matter if you buy like a Golf or Passat or like an Octavia or whatever, they buy this extra option. It doesn't cost very much, but basically it gives you better suspension and like 2 or 3 centimeters higher off the ground. And I think if you buy that, you cannot choose like big wheels like 19 or 18-inch
Uh-huh.
because obviously it doesn't make sense. So you're limited to some smaller wheels. Um, so do you have maybe any details about something like this coming also to the ID3?
So I haven't heard of it at all, and I haven't seen it in the manual. So if, then I don't think on the first edition. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe when you can order the car normally, maybe there will be an option. But again, I never heard of it at all.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said that it may be it's just for specific countries. So maybe you cannot even order it in Germany for any car.
That's possible, but I don't think that this will come in the first edition. I think the first edition is made as simple as possible.
Yeah, they want to simplify the production
Yeah,
process.
and I also think that even with the different lines, so line 1, 2, and 3, that even those are very easy to change, so that there is space for the heat pump for the max version. In the other cars as well, there's not something else there, or of course there's the normal heater, but it's easy to put in. So
Yeah.
it's not okay. This is a totally different car. This is now line 3. We have to change everything. I'm pretty sure it's done the way that when the line 2 car comes, it's easy to build, and when it's a line 3, that just change this part to this, but it works.
It will be interesting to see if they add this option because maybe not in the first edition, but after you can like actually configure the car that you want. Um, yeah, I think some people would be interested in getting that option because usually it's not expensive. It's maybe it's 1,000 or 1,500 euros extra,
I
but
don't get why it should be more expensive at all. I mean, maybe the different suspension, but to have it higher, it shouldn't cost more.
mm, well, I think it costs something more, but it's really a small amount of money. So that's why people like to choose it because obviously roads are not that good over here, and yeah. So you didn't see anything about this in the manual?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
no. Somebody is asking why there's still a 12-volt battery in there, another smaller one, and I think that the size of the 12-volt battery has to do with the internal system. So when you turn off the car and everything runs off the 12-volt battery, it doesn't be drained so fast.
I think this is has to do with this is just speculation, but a lot of the systems already in the past 50 years have been developed to run on 12 volt, and now to change everything over to run on, I don't know, 9
No,
volts
no,
or
you
6.
have to do that. You cannot run it on 400 volt of the battery. It
Yeah, no,
just
of
doesn't
course, of
work.
course.
You can have that power in the car. But what he's asking, he's not asking if why is there a 12-volt battery at all. He's just asking why is there not a smaller one. So I think what he means is not the big battery. Why is there not like a tiny 12-volt battery in there to have more
Oh,
space?
but yeah, I think it has to do with capacity. You need
Exactly.
a lot of
And to run all those system, and especially when you always have to recharge the battery, it's a buffer,
yeah.
and I'm pretty sure there's the sweet spot where they think everything works with this size of battery. I mean, I know that Teslas don't have the like a diesel battery, but it's still
They still have a 12-volt battery. I think a lot of the systems are already optimized. We're even talking about like lights around the car, like horn systems, like safety systems. Everything works on 12 volt, and um, you need a bigger battery to be able to run them. I think when the car is off, maybe even like the central locking, stuff like that, basic stuff. So you need a buffer, and
of course.
um, yeah.
Uh, and another one is asking, how's the 12-volt battery charged from the big battery? There's a converter in there that converts 400 volt to 12 volt and then charges the small volt battery.
Pretty much, I think that's how I understand it.
Yeah. A different question, and you have this in your sheet about the heat pump. It's a shame that there's no heat pump in the ID3 first in Romania, and that's very weak. And I'm also very disappointed at Volkswagen that not every ID3 first has a heat pump. This should have been standard.
Yeah.
Not the when you configure it yourself, but the first edition they all should have heat pump.
First
Everybody
edition should,
knows,
yeah, yeah. I
especially they are totally on, oh, we didn't put the front heated windshield in because it takes too much power. We did this for efficiency, we did this for efficiency, so why not a heat pump? So if the first edition costs 500 euros more, I don't care,
yeah, yeah,
fine. But but this is what would have been the only reason why I wanted to switch to the next level, which costs 4,000 euros more.
yeah. No, heat pump should be standard. I completely agree with you in the ID3, at least in the first edition. And then when they start to when you can like basically configure it yourself, then it's up to you if you want it or not. Maybe someone from Spain doesn't need it, or some Italy
Exactly.
or whatever. But I think the first edition, also because they would give like really good reviews. I think the car would perform better and everything else. So yeah, it should be standard. And then um,
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't need it, you don't have to put it on it. But
Exactly, exactly. And I would even in Spain that the heat pump works the best when the difference between inside and outside is not that big. That it's the most efficient. So at minus 20 degrees, the heat pump doesn't use less power than a normal heater. But if it's zero, then it's way more efficient. And if it's 10 and you want to heat up to 20, then it's amazingly efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's for. And in Spain, I'm sure they have 10 degrees as well. And somebody else is asking, do you think that some garages will be able to add the heat pump as some modifications? You can do that, but of course you lose all warranty.
Yeah, I saw Tesla Model S with heat pump. You can find it on YouTube and stuff, but it's obviously aftermarket.
Of course. Yeah.
So
No, I wouldn't do that. No, that's a pity. That's something I was very mad about when I heard the heat pump. For me, first edition was always, this is something special for the first people, and we're gonna put a lot of features in there, but you get it for a good package.
yeah,
And for
yeah,
me, and then afterwards they said, yes, with the first edition you get the performance package that you have 2 seconds faster from 0 to 100.
well,
That was for me standard, so I don't get it. And then for me the heat pump would have been, this is something that has to be in there. The head-up display, yes. Panoramic roof, yes. That can be extra, but
but like
no.
you said, even their marketing approach was this, that the first edition gets almost everything. There are three different tiers, but you basically, even with the lowest tier, you get a lot of stuff.
Mm. You get a lot of stuff, but the heat pump should have been one of those things that is, in my opinion, in any country outside of where it is 20 to 30 degrees all the time, necessary for an EV. Now, in 10 years, maybe it doesn't matter if EVs are efficient because batteries are this size and have 100 kilowatt hours and weigh a kilo. I don't know. But right now, you need the more efficient the better. And if you work on the form of the car that is more efficient, on the motor that is more efficient, then put a freaking heat pump in there.
Yeah, but
That
I read something about Norway getting heat pump in the first editions.
they have it in all cars. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
all tiers
all
of
lines.
all,
Yeah,
yeah.
first edition. Every car in Norway. And yes, it's colder there, and maybe they need it more and longer through the year, but that doesn't cost more there. And why didn't they put it in every ID? That was
I
the
was I
wrong
was going
choice.
to I was going to ask you if you know about the pricing, but you already said it doesn't cost over there more.
So the prices that they have, I don't know them in euro, but they have a very nice system where in electric cars in Norway you don't pay tax.
Yeah, I read about that. Basically, you don't pay, I think, VAT, right?
Exactly, and that in Germany that's 19%. That's a lot of money.
It's 19% in Romania as well.
Yeah, so they're lucky. Um, I don't know if the first edition is more expensive in Norway than here. I know that Norway overall is when you see Björn Nieland's videos is amazingly expensive.
Hmm.
I mean, when he buys a few buns or something and he tells what it costs, I'm like, oh my god, how
Yeah,
can you live there?
it's the same. It's the same in Denmark. We have some friends over there, and we visit them sometimes. And yeah, you go just buy some things in the grocery store, and you leave your whole salary there.
I know that of Sweden. Sweden is extremely expensive. When you buy a beer, it's like, oh my god, half of your salary of the month or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Okay, this is off topic, but
Of
also
course.
also this friend of mine, they live like 150 kilometers from Germany, so they just drive to Germany, and when they want to buy like beer and other like sweets and stuff, they pack up the car, and this is not like they do it. Everybody does it. It's called, they have a word for it. It's like shopping something.
Ah, cool. So foreign shopping or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Somebody was asking about DCC. What is that?
Wasn't.
Wasn't the DCC the thing you asked for? What's DCC?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Also,
Olaf, tell us.
also, does the Model 3 have heat pump? No.
No.
The
Then
first
it's after.
Tesla, the first Tesla to have a heat pump is the Model Y.
Yeah.
It's just come out, and yeah, until now, no Tesla officially. No Tesla had
Yeah.
heat pump.
So if you buy the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, you have the same problem as with the ID3 with no heat pump. So
Yeah.
when it's colder, and with cold I don't mean again -20 degrees, then it's the same, but with I don't know 5-10 degrees, the heating just uses way more power than it would with a heat pump. The only negative that a heat pump has, it's loud.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw. There's a guy who's tearing down. You probably saw it in the U.S. Monroe Live. He
The
is,
Model Y.
yeah, the Model Y. He's taking the Model Y down to small pieces and analyzing everything. And the heat pump had like a vibration absorbing foam like packaging, so it doesn't
Yeah,
like
but
it would.
still, I filmed the Kona when I was heating it up, and that's loud. Not just the fan; it's the heat pump that also has a fan, and it's yes. If you know houses that have a heat pump on the outside, it sounds like an air conditioning. Just it is an air conditioning, just the
It,
other way.
yeah, yeah. It's basically an yeah
Uh, Dynamic cruise control was an option in the standard.
on the.
What's
I
dynamic cruise control? So
I think
adaptive
it's
cruise control?
ACC. AC, yeah, adaptive.
Adaptive cruise control. As far as I know, every ID3 will have that. Even if you buy a standard one, not first edition, it will still have adaptive cruise control. I have the PDF from Island where they show all the options, even with the non-first edition.
I'll just put on the screen quickly the Romanian Volkswagen ID3 page. So basically, the first edition, the basic, the one, the cheapest one. It's not cheap, but the cheapest one has adaptive cruise control with stop and go. And then if you go to the next one, it just adds more stuff. So yeah, has adaptive cruise control. I think you also showed it
Yeah.
in your live stream. Let me try to.
And I think that even non-first edition has adaptive cruise control as standard. I think so. I have to look
Oh,
up.
okay.
I really think so.
Um, so I'll just put on on the screen. You were saying in your live stream about adaptive cruise control with like overtaking feature, and that was it sounded really interesting to me. So basically, it's lane lane adjustment, automatic lane adjustment, something like that, right?
But wasn't it? I thought this was not adaptive cruise control. Isn't this overtaking? Oh God, don't even remember that. If the indicator overtake is, he will accelerate the vehicle and reduce the distance. Wow, that's great. I thought this was the travel assist, but no, yeah, that's true.
So
Totally forgot.
so stop and go traffic. There's it should stop in the city, and then when traffic restarts, it should start moving again, or on the
But
highway as well.
but there's a difference. If you have the plus version, so no travel assist, if you only have lane assist, then it will stop, and you have to press resume or
Yeah,
press the accelerator pedal, and then it will go on. Um, if you have travel assist, it will go on automatically. You don't have to do anything unless it takes too long. So if you stand there for 30 seconds, you still have to do something yourself.
yeah, yeah,
But otherwise, so when you stand there for 5 seconds, you don't have to do anything. So like autopilot on Model 3, where you don't have
yeah.
to do it.
It's more basic autopilot, let's say.
You can compare those. So Volkswagen is nowhere near.
So here's auto lane changing on the screen right now. So I think you mentioned it. I mean, obviously you mentioned it because it's in the document, and it does the lane change for you basically. If you have the second option, I think also like you said.
Can you go a bit up? Is this the travel assist part? Or a bit back? You cannot go up, sorry. I
So
think this is
here's lane keeping assist and travel assist right now. Yeah, introducing
yeah.
it.
So this is only in the max version in Germany. Travel assist you have on the first and on the plus, but travel assist, so that where it does everything and it does it really well, this is only in the max.
So
It,
travel assist is some kind of like autopilot, let's say.
it tries to do that. That's true. The Hyundai does it very well. You have the two options. Lane assist is so lane keep and lane follow. Lane keep means that if the driver doesn't look and by mistake
Yeah.
will go over the line, it pulls you back. Lane keep keeps you in the middle of the two lanes.
Mm-hmm.
That means in lane assist, if you take your hands off the wheel, you just go from one side to another. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not a nice driving. It's just for a second. But the travel assist, this is it drives you like the e-golf had. It drives forward and it's
And
fine.
also steers if the road is steering.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it
But
has this overtaking thing.
this was interesting because this is yeah, it's not available in a lot of cars. Basically just a few cars can do it, and to see it available in the ID3, it was nice to see.
No, that's nice. That's true. It's a good idea. And and with that manual, there's something that people need to know. Yes, it's the ID3 manual, but you can see a lot of pictures and a lot of text is copied from a Golf manual,
Hmm.
or so it's possible that there's stuff copied that's not even in the ID3, or the other way around. There's stuff missing that will be in the ID3 and is not in that manual anymore. So the
Yeah.
manual is offline. I haven't said that anymore yet, but a few German press sites were showing my video and text and what's in there, and then Volkswagen took it down. They're
Yeah.
mad at me.
Are they mad at you?
I don't know. I only noticed. I mean, can do. It's very possible. It has to do with the pandemic and with a lot of people having home office and having a lot to do, maybe. Um, but I contacted the person who gave me the test car, the press car, the e-up, and I asked her for an e-golf. And before the manual, she wrote me back after a day or so, and after the manual, she didn't reply.
I don't think it has to do with the
So I
manual.
didn't want to ask again and again. And the other person that is has to do with event production and event planning that invited me to the pre-booking event. I know that he's stressed out completely because he's at home office, but he has a daughter, and he said it's horrible to work and have your daughter there. And come on, daddy, play with me. So I understand that he's not very good with communication right now.
Yeah. No, I don't think they have anything
I mean, I didn't do anything wrong.
no.
The how Volkswagen does the manuals is that you go on the site, user guide Volkswagen DE or whatever, what's your country, and then you put in the VIN of a car, and then you get the manual, and the VIN of the ID3 is not something that's a secret. If you were at the Frankfurt Motor Show, you can see the VIN. It's in the front. And I told you that yesterday that Volkswagen showed a picture of an ID3 being built last week when they restarted on Thursday production of the ID3, and there's a piece of paper stuck to the car, and you can see the VIN number of that. So a lot of people out there don't know that on that VIN number, it says at the end the number 5,600 something. I think 5,661, and I don't know if this means that where they are right now is that they're building car 5,661. So since November, they have built 5,000 cars.
Yeah, it's possible. It's
Or the
possible.
picture is old, and they already built more. I just know that right now they build 50 cars a day, and they're ramping up to go to the level in March where they built 150 cars a day.
I also made a note Something I thought was interesting is the central airbag that showed up in the manual. Basically, I've never seen something like that.
It's
So
great.
I
It's a
thought it
great
was
idea.
interesting because you have all the airbags like standard and then central airbag. I've not seen anything like that.
I mean, when you go through the whole, what they have airbags, when you have an accident, you're in a cushion. The
Which is
front,
good. Which is good.
the whole side, and then in the middle. So you're basically in there. It's a great idea. And the reason for that was accidents, of course, from the side that you can bump into the passenger beside you, but also because of those many safety features that they have, the insurance costs of the ID3 will be very low. So even though it has 200 horsepower, it will be in a lower category.
Yeah, yeah. It's always good. It's always good. Do we know what the crash test rating is, or is there no information yet?
There is a video of crash test from Volkswagen, but I don't think that they
There's no
announced anything.
official rating yet.
Yeah, I have no idea. But except for Tesla, I don't know if of any other car what the rating would be.
Mm-hmm.
So Tesla are the only ones who are very proud of that, and they're putting it uh,
Everywhere.
in the news all the time, and they deserve it. No,
Yeah,
I'm not saying
basically.
that,
I know
but I
they're.
have no idea with a Kona or with an Ionic or Leaf how if it's that unsafe. I doubt that.
Yeah. Nowadays, every new car has decent crash
Yeah,
rating. So I
yeah.
would say I know that Tesla was putting out, I think a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, an interesting video about how the Model 3 crash structure in the front was designed to absorb a lot of energy, and basically you cannot do it with any other car, just an EV, because there's the big engine in the front
Hmm.
and with the ICE cars,
Yeah,
and that energy is not going anywhere. It's pushed forward into the car. I mean, into the passenger compartment.
exactly.
Whereas everything else in the front of the car in the Model 3 can just be like going into pieces, like shattering
Mm,
and bending and stuff like that.
yeah. No, a great safety. For me, that's just not a thing why I would buy a car. I'm pretty sure that most of the cars are safe enough for me.
Mm. So something I found also interesting. I have an ad playing right now because on your
Sorry.
on your video. Something I've
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, it's YouTube. Um,
You
something I
can
found.
monetize yet, right? With under thousand
Yeah, no,
subscribers,
no, no. I
you
can't
can.
monetize. I should be buying the YouTube Premium to skip all these, especially nowadays because I'm on YouTube all that on a lot.
Oh, I should
Um,
tell all the people that are here that are not normally on your channel, subscribe. He needs subscribers. Come on.
no, I usually do content in Romanian, so they wouldn't understand anything.
Okay. Still
But
subscribe. I subscribed,
yeah, thank you.
and
But
you have more. You had 259 this morning. Now you have 263.
yeah, thank you.
We did it.
But something interesting I saw in your video was about the Wi-Fi hotspot. So basically, the car comes with a SIM inside,
Hmm.
and you can make a hotspot for your phone. So you're using the internet from your car basically, but that's only for 2 years, and also the car is using internet for other things as well. But that's only for 2 years, and then
No, no,
afterwards,
no. So how it works is, of course, the car has an internet connection, so an eSIM in there. Otherwise, you couldn't have over-the-air updates, and they do it like Tesla. I'm pretty sure they can do remote looking at the car if there's something wrong and where you are. But where you are is more GPS. But then to transfer the data that you can use the app, you need of course internet connectivity. And what the car can do, and I'm pretty sure Tesla can do that too. So you can either have the hotspot that the car is the hotspot, it connects to the internet, and you have up to 8 phones in the car that connect to the car and then use the internet. I'm pretty sure it's the new 4G, not 5G
Yeah.
network, and you can also use it the other way. You can have your phone that has internet
Yeah.
connectivity be the hotspot, and the car connects to this.
But
And with the first edition, you get 2 years free internet connectivity in the car, but with not unlimited data. I don't know what it is, but I guess around 2 gigs a month.
I didn't see specific like
Well, I know
number.
that from an interview. I did an interview in Dresden with the head of marketing and sales of the ID family, and she told me that. So you get 2 years. No, it wasn't in the interview. It was in the Q&A that we did with her, where everybody asked questions. So for 2 years, you get it for free, and but with not unlimited data. And then afterwards, you can say, no, I don't need internet. I don't need that. But over-the-air updates still work.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, then streaming, so audio, and then in the future, at some point, video streaming won't work.
But
But
it would still work if you would do a hotspot from your phone, yeah?
of course. So when after 2 years, when you still have on your phone unlimited data, but the car doesn't, then you use your phone. Totally
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, but you
Okay.
can still buy it. You can so the ID3 will have a lot of features in the app and in the car that you can buy. So you can buy a bigger data plan. There's even a thing where it was the Volkswagen V Connect. No, it wasn't that. There was a special thing where it says that you can in the car buy extra features to
Yeah.
have, but it doesn't say what. And it said in a thing the manual, and I doubt that the manual to have the
Yeah,
manual in
I
the car.
remember that. You were saying that the manual shouldn't cost money.
And I doubt that. I really doubt that.
I'm looking for that portion, but
It was
yeah,
somewhere. I
it
can't.
was somewhere here.
What was it? App Connect.
And
I don't
also
know.
also there's a difference between App Connect subscriptions. There's a plus version or something like that. There was
For what? Sorry.
so there was this phone connectivity that you can see.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So with now right now, when you have an e-golf or an e-app, you have the We Connect app, which works not very well, and I'm pretty sure no, it works, but it takes a long time. So if you send, please start charging or please start preconditioning, it takes up a minute till anything works. It will work way better with the ID3, but because the car already has a better connection, and then they will redo the app. I'm pretty sure
mhm.
with the launch with the ID3, you get a new We Connect app,
So I'll
and
just put it on the screen.
and then you can either have the normal We Connect, and you can just see a few things. I can't remember what it was, but not a
Um,
lot.
it's going to be here, 135.
Another advertising. Yeah, that's me. All money.
It's somewhere here. So we connect.
No, what's that? Privacy settings. Nah.
So here's driving data, vehicle status, vehicle health report, parking position, and service scheduling.
So that's not a lot. So you know where the car is, and how many kilometers you drove, and if the car is locked or is okay. And then in a plus version, that
And
will cost.
yeah, so you have charging. I guess you can start and stop charging.
In the plus, then you have what you see there. It's just so much more, and this should be the standard.
Uh,
What I didn't get, and I said it in the video. What do I do with Apple Music and Tidal in an app that controls the car? So
um,
maybe you can adjust playlists or stuff like that.
air conditioning, charging, and programming departure times should really be.
Yeah.
Also, lock and unlock is a plus service. If you go down the
Mhm.
second to last one, lock and unlock,
Yeah. Yeah.
that should be in
And,
the
and I have
standard.
no idea with this plus service, is this something you get in the first edition for free? And if you buy the ID3 at some point, then you have to order it extra.
Hmm.
It's very possible. We've seen so many things that the first edition has that the normal ID3 will only have when you pay extra, like the performance update.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
So
pretty sure it will be more. And the data plan. If you buy the normal ID3, you will not have a data plan unless you buy it. So
really,
those 2 years with the first edition, that's for the first edition.
it's
If you in September, whenever they start the normal ordering process for the normal ID3, you
yeah,
can set a thing and say I want a data plan. But if you
yeah.
don't do it, then you don't
It's
have.
just an option.
And
Otherwise,
yeah,
but you will still have some connectivity for the
you
servicing and
still get your updates, but
up.
you do not cannot stream or anything. And
Hmm.
I know why they're doing it. You can see it in so many things with the ID3 and Volkswagen. They try to make the cost of the car, first of all, cheap, that it's at the 30,000 euros that they want for the small battery. And also, if someone says, I don't need that, why do I pay for that?
Hmm.
So, and that's why I say to the people that are mad that you have to pay for the acceleration package, I say, no, it's fine. If somebody is there and says, I'm okay with 9.5 seconds from 0 to 100, then okay, he can get the car cheaper. If you need 7.5, then pay for it.
Hmm.
I'm okay with that option.
Yeah, basically. Another ad, and I'll want to talk about.
Oh my God. Another
I
ad.
want to talk about the heads-up AR display, which is I think looks really interesting. If I can just put it on the screen, I was
Oh,
discussing
one
this.
second. Somebody it was just asking, what's the difference between WeConnect and App Connect? App Connect means Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Miro. What was the last thing?
Mirror link.
Miro Link. And WeConnect is the app from Volkswagen where you can see how the car is, the what's the state of charge, and how much range you have, and stuff like this.
Hmm. I hope the ID3 app will work because BMW Connect is completely useless.
The WeConnect app right now with eGolf and eUp is it works, but it's not very nice. It's not on a Tesla level. But I think the biggest problem is that the cars have only 3G or maybe even less connectivity.
That's not a lot.
I'm pretty sure that the ID3 will have the normal thing.
4G, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But for those, they know that you cannot stream or anything with the car. The only thing is to send a bit of data, and
Yeah.
then they think it's enough, but it just takes so long. It works, but it takes long.
So I wanted to talk about the AR display. Have you seen
Yeah,
it?
I have seen it in the car on. So I was sitting in Frankfurt Motor Show in one that was projecting the speed, and I don't know. It was a demo, so it wasn't a real thing. It showed the when you see it in the manual, the one thing. So
Yeah.
so speed and whatever it showed, and it looks like any other head-up display. It's good that it projects it on the screen, not on like the corner on a different screen
Like a
that it comes
plastic,
up.
like a piece of plastic, yeah.
Yeah, so that's very nice. I have that also in Frankfurt and in Dresden at the pre-booking event. There was a TV screen, and they put where you should stand, and then it showed you how it will look like in the car. So what
Mm.
it does is it really projects it on the screen, and it knows where your eyes are. So it will when it knows when the distance is different, then it will make it smaller, and in a perspective that it really looks like you see the arrow on the street. And what it does, what's really nice, and I'm sad that I didn't buy it, but it was just too expensive for me, the Max. Um, so when you do navigation, you really see an animation of an arrow at that corner. So you
Mhm.
don't see it just in the screen left. You see it projected. It looks like it is on the road, on that spot where you have to turn. And when you're going, it gets bigger and bigger because you're getting closer to it.
So,
And that's really well made.
so you've seen a demo of this,
A demo of it. They show, like I said, the navigation, and they show also what the second function that it has to do with when you have adaptive cruise control on the distance. So it shows a line in the car in front of you.
Mhm.
When the car is coming closer, then you can see the line coming closer, and then the
Okay.
distant car will reduce speed to keep the distance.
I spoke about this. Basically, I saw the the official like marketing video for this,
Mhm.
and when I saw it, I thought it was just like a really interesting marketing
No, no, it
like
works.
stuff. And
It
and
works,
I,
and
I thought because I saw like you see stuff that it doesn't make it into production, but they like to like show it off. But then I saw the manual on your live stream, and then I realized that's going to actually happen. I never saw anything like this in any other car, basically.
no, it's a great thing. And this is the first car where they told us that where they can put it in because of how it's projecting on the screen. It needs a lot of space. The whole head-up display unit is extremely big, and in a gasoline car so far they couldn't fit it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ID3 will be the first car. Sorry, so much advertising. The ID3 will be the first car who has that, and it's not, to be honest, it's not that much big of a deal. I mean, it is a great thing, but it's not that hard to make. Just nobody thought of it yet.
Yeah, exactly. I never
Just
saw
a
it in.
perspective thing. It knows where this entrance is, and it will estimate with your navigation. Okay, the street you have to go in should be 300 meters away, so I put the arrow there.
So I
And
saw something like this in Audis, not Audi, sorry, Mercedes. The
Mhm.
newer ones have these like floating screens, also for the dashboard, also for the infotainment screen. Even if you buy the cheapest Audi, the A series, not Audi, Mercedes, the A series, you get the full screen. And then on the right side, when you have the infotainment screen, they can project the front camera onto that screen and do this AR thing on
Ah,
top of it. But
wow.
it's in the middle infotainment screen. It's the same let's say system, or let's say the same idea, but it's
Mhm.
not in the windshield. The
Mhm.
windshield is perfect because that's where you're looking.
Yeah, and it will be the same technique how it will work. It knows the distance and it knows how big the arrow has to be, and when you're moving, it will make it bigger and bigger because you're coming closer.
Yeah. So
So
that's
I'm sure it will work. I don't know if it will work perfectly, so that maybe this arrow is a meter in front of
yeah,
the thing or
yeah.
in the back. That's fine. It's just a very great idea for navigation, I
Well,
think.
I'll
With the
just
distance with the car, adaptive cruise control, I don't get it. I see the car where it is. Why would need a line to see how far it is away?
I'll just put it on the screen again. The marketing video, so
Yes,
that
this
people.
is how exactly how it will look like. It's just amazing that you can see that this arrow is just standing there. Of course, it will never look like that from the position that where the camera is. Only the driver will be able to see
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So the passenger on the driver's
Not
next
even
to.
when you I'm pretty sure even when you put your head to the middle, you won't be able to see that,
But
right?
this is the same with any heads-up display, basically.
Exactly, exactly. So this, I don't get it. Why do I need that line?
What in on the dashboard?
No, the line to
This one?
see the distance
So,
of
so
the
the front
car.
of the car?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just showing you that it
You
is
can do that.
recognizing the car and you're safe.
That's possible. That's a good idea. Yeah, you're safe. The distance is all fine. That's true.
Hmm.
That's true. I mean that also that your target, where you want it to go, you've reached your target. Is also great to have
Yeah,
that
yeah.
flag in the middle. It's a great thing. It's yeah, and that's why I do leasing very properly, and then at some point maybe after a year I will update the car to one with head-up display or something. I don't know,
Hmm.
or the big battery. We'll see. It's very
Cool.
possible.
This AR thing, I was skeptical because when I saw the marketing video, I was like, it's not going to work like this. But
Yeah.
actually, you confirming, and then also when I saw it that it's in the manual, then it's actually, yeah, it's going to.
I knew that since September, before they made advertising that the Max will have AR head-up display. Nobody knew what that will be.
Hmm.
And then at the Frankfurt Motor Show, they showed a few videos. The one that you just showed, that was shown, and then they had the screen where they show how it will work there. And also, when I was sitting in a car, the head-up display was on, but it just showed normal stuff, and you can see the device in there. And I'm pretty sure this will work. This will also be, of course, something they are working on right now when it comes to software.
Um, one thing, one thing a lot of automotive journalists like to, let's say, they don't like it, let's say like that, is the fact that some buttons nowadays are so some things that used to be buttons now are in the infotainment system. And from the manual, I saw that also the heated seats are now in the touchscreen. You don't
Yeah.
have separate buttons for it.
No, you don't. No, you
So
don't.
what are your thoughts on that?
Like I said in the beginning, I don't like Model 3 minimalistic design to have 3 buttons in the car, hazards, and the 2 buttons on the steering wheel. And ID3 is going in that direction, but not extremely. So you have still light buttons, which are all not real buttons, so haptic buttons. When you just go over them, then they will feel the touch,
Yeah.
and they will vibrate a tiny bit. The steering wheel as well. What they can do with that is that you cannot only press it, you can also do sliding. So for example, if you do volume or increase or decrease, you can either press the plus button a few times, or you can just slide from minus to plus and it will go louder. The same with temperature. If you want it warmer, you can slide or press the button. And seated heats, it will always be, I don't know if it's always in the screen, maybe only,
It should, if it's always in the screen, I'm okay with it because
I
it's
can't
almost
remember.
like having a button.
I can that in my video there was a section where I show
The
the
screen, yeah.
infotainment screen, and it's possible that the right side will change and the left side shows the clock, the temperature setting for both sides, and then the seat heaters,
Yeah,
and you
basically
have to press.
that's how I remember it as well.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
if you have like a quick shortcut buttons all the time for important stuff, let me see if this is it. Yeah. So if the bar on the left stays basically all the time the same, and maybe you can even pre-configure it to have the stuff that you always use. Maybe you're not interested in the summer. Maybe you don't need the heated seats, and you want to put on something else.
It's possible they will do that. I don't think right now. I think what you can do now is change the middle buttons. So the Golf now has the same infotainment system, and those middle 8 buttons that you can set a home screen yourself, and you can change, move them around, delete them so they're somewhere else. You can have your main buttons there. That will work. But I think right now they want to keep the left part the way that it is right now. And if you want to change climate, you just press on some of those buttons, and the climate screen comes on.
Mm-hmm.
If you like this or not, that's up to you. I also would prefer a real button
Okay.
that I can always see. But my biggest problem with this is the passenger seat. So the infotainment screen is tilted towards the driver a tiny bit. So the passenger has, if they're sitting a bit more in the front, always have to lean over and where's that plus button for my seat heater and for my temperature?
But you can use voice commands.
That's true, but who does that? I don't do that. I'm sorry. I never used it in my life. I was in so many electric cars. I never used it
No,
because I know how it will work.
our car also has voice commands, and it's just basic stuff like call, and then you can pre-program like a couple of numbers like dad
Okay.
and mom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's even that one doesn't really work. So
Yeah.
it's
So
just
what they're trying with the ID3, they're trying the new. That's she was so Silke Bakshik, who was with. It was so much fun. I did the interview with her in Dresden, so the marketing head of marketing, And then afterwards we were done, and they had like an hour till the next interview. There was another German YouTuber there with an amazingly big channel. They did an hour live stream with her, but we had an hour or so, and then there was also one of the head technicians there, and he told me more things about the car that she didn't know.
Okay.
And so for example, the preheating of the battery when you navigate to a charger, the preheating of the battery when you are charging,
Is that done automatically?
that's done automatically.
So how would the car know that you're so you would put it into the navigation system?
Exactly. So when you're charging, it will heat up the battery to get the best charging speed, or when you navigate to the charger, it will preheat before. And he knew of course details that she has no space or time for that. That's okay. But when we were sitting in the car and we went through a lot of things that she wanted to achieve that was important to her, and you could see that the ID3 was built. Some things were built around her. So
Okay.
she said, when I go in, I want to put my handbag here, and that's why here is space. And I said, okay. And she said, I want folding mirrors on all ID3s, and then she was proud of the new voice control that the ID3 will have. So what they're trying to achieve is not certain commands. What they're trying to achieve is that it will be like
Ale-
Siri or
Alexa.
Alexa or stuff,
Yeah, Google
that you say
Google Assistant.
something and it will know what you want. So when you say, oh my God, my feet are cold, then it will heat up the foot area.
Mm-hmm.
Or where's parking, and something like this. Parking is 100 meters ahead. So something like this. They want to achieve that, and that's also something I'm pretty sure that is the software stuff that they're still working on.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about this yesterday, because a lot of headlines are written about the software issues about the ID3, but as far as you told me, even when you went to the test drive, and that was a couple of months ago, the car seemed fine, and what you understood the software issues were more related to the infotainment stuff, not basic functionality and
Yeah, of course. No, so when we drove the car, they told us before this is a prototype. We weren't allowed to film the
yeah.
front, so only us, not the car inside. It looked the same as any other ID3, but the infotainment system showed stuff that had nothing to do with driving. It was for the prototype data. That showed the prototype driver, okay, this works, or this does not work. That what do they call it? ID light? I
Oh, the light that goes around.
no. I mean the so your instrument cluster where you see your speed. They have a name for it. Who
Okay.
cares? Who cares? No, but this worked fine. So the speed ramped up, and I liked it so much. I hate when I've seen it in the new Porsche Taycan. I hate it when you accelerate in a car in digital speedometer, and the speed jumps in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes from 12, 24,
Yeah.
36, not every number. I hate that so much. And the ID3 has the normal stuff. I'm very glad.
Okay.
Ah,
I know what you say. A
system
lot
back
of
then.
a lot of older Citroen cars had digital and you can see it, like it jumps from 2 to 12 and stuff like that.
It's annoying. But back to the software stuff. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff that still has to be worked out. Otherwise, they would deliver the car now.
Mhm.
They have a few thousand built they could deliver now, and they need the cars to be delivered this year so they meet the CO2 regulations of the EU. They wouldn't wait. So there are still software issues. And with issues, I mean, when you get the car and you press on, I don't know, Bluetooth, and then connect to this and connect with internet, then the thing will crash.
Mhm.
Something like this. So the functions of the car that you drive, that you have regen, that you use normal navigation, I'm pretty sure that works. It's the connectivity and parts that are have that what bug fixes they just have to go through. And again, I think the ID3 is a car, they cannot deliver it. And the first guy who gets it, who's hopefully me, but I doubt it. I ask them all the time. You have no idea. I think I asked them 10 times if I can have the car just a day earlier than other people. So I can make hundreds of videos in one day and then I'm the
Yeah.
first, but I doubt it. I'm way too small for that. But the first guy who gets the car makes a video about it and then says, hey, I got my ID3 yesterday, and when I press this button and this, then the car crashes. That can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Just can't
definitely.
happen.
No.
If it happens in a Model 3, everybody says, it's a small company, it's fine. The car is only 2 years old. They forgive Tesla for most of the things, except for panel gaps that I don't care about. But with Volkswagen, because they always put I'm not a fan of Volkswagen or anything. I like the car. I don't care about the company. I have to say, it's just a big company that makes cars, and this is a car that fits me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people put words in their mouth, so that the term Tesla killer and Model 3 killer, Volkswagen never
Oh.
said that.
Yeah.
They also never said this will be the most amazing EV ever. They never said that. They
Yeah.
said we're building an electric car built up as an electric car from the start. We get all the advantages an electric car can have, and we're making it as cheap as a Golf diesel. And the small battery one will be like that.
Yeah.
And that's all what they said. Nobody said this will be the most amazing electric car ever. But that's what everybody is waiting for. The car comes out and something doesn't work. And it will happen. There will be some weird button if you press two buttons at once and then with the small finger up there, something will not work.
Yeah. Something will
Then
crash.
and it's possible maybe they will deliver it as they want it to, but then maybe internet connectivity doesn't work right away. You have to wait a few months because they're still working on that. Then you get an update and then it works. But even then,
You-
journalist will crush them.
Yeah. But you can still enjoy the car without like
Yes,
internet
of course. I
connectivity.
don't care. If they send me the car and the infotainment system doesn't work, I'm fine with it as long as I get it fast. I'm
Well,
talking as
maybe.
long as air conditioning and so climate and everything works, the app doesn't have to work. I want to drive. I want to see consumption numbers, range, drive it down to zero, charge it from 1% to 100% at Ionity. I want to see all of this.
Drive 1,000 kilometers.
Exactly, as fast as possible, stuff like this. But the infotainment system, this is for can come later. So I'm okay with that.
I wanted to ask you because I saw it in the manual. There's this parking automated parking feature.
Hmm.
Um, I've used it in the Nissan Leaf, and it kind of works. Have you ever tried it, and what are your thoughts about it?
I never tried it. I won't use it. Pretty sure it's not in the car I will be getting. It's only in the Max
Mm,
version. It's not in the first and in the Plus. Um, I'm sure it works because a lot of cars have that. I mean, a lot of fossil cars have that,
a
and
lot of cars have it
it's
nowadays.
not that hard. You just have to have side sensors on the back that notices the car, notices the distance. I'm pretty sure that's not a
I
problem.
it
Pretty
it's
sure it's
getting
already in
it's
other cars.
getting it's getting quite standard now. A lot of cars, even like you said, ice cars have it. I even saw cars having it because, but on manual cars, it's you have to do the clutch and the acceleration,
Oh, I
and
had
you
no
have to
idea.
change gears. And even manual cars nowadays have it. But um, does anybody really use it apart from when you buy the car and you try it out and it wow
Oh,
and you
you have no idea when the whole thing from Denmark. So a few months ago, in the Facebook group that I started, Volkswagen ID3 Pre-Bookers Europe.
mm-hmm.
Um, there were people from Denmark saying, okay, we now have the info from Volkswagen in Denmark that the first edition will only have one zone climate, and doesn't have park assist, and there was something else. Maybe with the big battery and only 4 seats, all of this. And there were people screaming because of that park assist. I want that park assist. I want that.
Really?
Yes. So there are people that really want that. And I
But
remember when the Model S came out and it had that, so many videos showed, people parking. Okay, now the car has only 1 meter space in front and in the back. How will it park now? And then they did it with only a half a meter and less and less.
I tried it, but it's like it doesn't always find the parking spot, even though I can see it that it is there and there's plenty of space. Most of the time, like I would say 60-70% of the time, it does find it, but you have to really go slow so the
Okay.
sensors pick up the space. And sometimes it would show that there's a space like on the grass or something like that. So I don't know. It's nice to have, but I wouldn't consider it to be the most important feature of the car.
No, no, no.
I think
I
I
don't
think
know if I can see myself using it when there's stress. So I'm on a big busy road and there's a spot and I drive and I press the button and it shows me you can fit in that space. And then I press the button, do it, and then it does it by himself.
yeah.
I will be okay with that. But I live in a small town. I rarely park even sideways.
Hmm.
So for me, it's not necessary, but some people, I get it when you live in a very big city, in a busy city, and you always have to park on the road, maybe in front of your house when you're in an apartment. Maybe that's very, very helpful. I have no idea. I never tried it. Never in my life have I ever seen that.
It's nice because everything is moving around and the car does it for you. And first time I tried it out with the Nissan Leaf, I actually thought it's going to hit the car behind because it goes quite quickly and it goes
Really?
really close. Like the
Huh.
wheel is spinning so fast. You couldn't move the steering wheel so fast with your car with your hand.
And
It does it like really quickly, and then it goes back, and it really goes really close. But I guess the sensors know what's behind, and
I was surprised when I was reading the manual on that part. I always thought this self parking thing is that it does the steering by itself, but you use the accelerator pedal and do it as fast as you want. So when you say I want to go slowly in there, you can control it. If you say there's something wrong, you take your foot off the gas. But it says it does everything. You just
I
press the button and do
I
this.
think I think there are both kinds of systems. There are the newer ones, they do everything, and the older ones, you kind of have to push the
I would
brake.
prefer that. So I
Yeah.
can set the pace. I can say, okay, slow, let's see if it all works. This is all fine. And then, okay,
Okay.
I would prefer that. But
Um,
I can see that this is an achievement. It's something technological. And again, Tesla was very proud of it too when they came out with it.
and nowadays they don't talk about it anymore, but yeah,
Now it's a standard feature.
nowadays it's autopilot that they talk about.
Yeah. And the great
Something
thing,
else I found interesting was the fact that there's only one 12-volt socket in the boot.
yes. Yeah, they think I think that the main reason for that is they wanted a clean interior. They wanted in the front everything to be empty. So when you sit in the car, in the front is I think was the net, if I'm not mistaken, where you can put stuff in it, and then there's a bit of free space, and then you have the cup holders and everything where you can close, and also with the two USB Cs, not USB As. Um, and I think that they thought this is not a future thing. Nobody uses 12 volt anymore, and but for example, for me, that's different. Since I'm filming in the car, I need a lot of USBs. So I want to have but when you have the plus, you have two more USB Cs in the back. In the
Hmm.
normal first, you don't have those. And then the 12 volt charger in the back is there At the Frankfurt Motor Show, exactly, the cup holders here in that picture, and then there's the
No.
wireless charger if you have the Max, and then in the back you can open this. They could have put a 12-volt outlet in there, but they didn't.
I mean, I think they could have put like a 12 volt here in this compartment that you can open and close.
Exactly.
That's how other companies do it, and then
Yeah,
you can.
I would have liked that too. They wanted it in the back to charge something or to have a cool box or whatever. They didn't think that this is a car where you go on holiday in, I guess. You don't need that in the front. That's what they think. That's
Mm, yeah, but I think it's like such, I don't know, such a basic things.
yeah,
You have to
I think so
use.
too.
Some people use it for dash cams. No, some people use it for, I don't know, like charging. Well, you have the USB, but maybe you need more. Maybe you
But
want to charge.
USB-C can support more. That's why they have USB-Cs. USB-C can charge faster and with high power.
Is it a fast charger? Does it
I
output a lot of?
don't. I have not read any specifics, but I know that USB-C is being used to have better data transfer
Yeah, yeah, of
and to
course.
have more power on there.
My work laptop is being. I have a USB-C dock, and basically I have the laptop and just one USB-C. That's where the laptop is getting power, so all the power it needs. It's outputting like a 1080p image, and
Wow.
also a bunch of USB ports, so I can plug into that dock my external keyboard, mouse, also cable for the internet, and it's
Okay.
only one cable connected to the
Uh,
laptop.
so maybe they're thinking of that. It's possible that you can even get a USB-C to 12-volt outlet. Maybe I have no idea. Maybe
I don't know if that's possible, but
I have no. If it goes the one way, maybe it goes the other way too. It would be stupid to get the I'm guessing 5 volt from USB-C and then transform it to 12 volt and then put another adapter to get more USBs. That's what I need them
to get
for.
it back to 5 volt again.
Exactly. But you have then 2 or 10.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Um,
Yeah. But this is what they showed at the Frankfurt Motor Show. There was an e-scooter, so those thing you stand on and it goes.
so you could charge it in the boot.
Exactly. That's what they showed.
Mm,
I
okay,
don't know
interesting.
if somebody has that. I don't know. For me, you're right. There should be one in the front and in the back.
Yeah,
And
why not do both?
yeah.
Interesting.
And what I would want that what they don't have is one USB or the 12-volt outlet that would work all the time, even if the ignition is off. But no, everything turns off when you get out of the car.
Mm. Yeah, that's good to have some a 12 volt or USB to have it on, or maybe have it configurable in the infotainment system.
So in the manual as it is right now, it says that they're all they're all off when you turn off the ignition. And that's why I still have to start stop button. It doesn't start or stop the car. It's just the ignition that you can have the infotainment system and air conditioning on without driving.
So about now that you mentioned the start and stop button, from what I could tell in the manual, because you went over the key and everything, if you buy the base model, you get start stop button, but not contactless entry. So you still have to press the button to open the doors, and then you
I
just
think
press the
so.
start button. Let me just find that part because
I
um,
think so. I think you're right. I think in the first edition you get to the car, you have the key in your uh, in your pants or whatever, and then when you press the button, it will unlock. And in the Plus and Max, if you go near the car, you can set it so it will open automatically.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I have
And
it
then they
here.
did it with all cars. When you sit in the car and you have the key in your pocket, it's just you press on the brake and it's on and you drive like in a Tesla. That was
Hmm.
important to them.
Yeah, to,
No, and it's amazing. I hate that with so many cars that you have to press the start stop button to start driving. You put it in drive and you drive. Have you seen Björn Nieland's video? What he hates about his MG in Thailand?
I saw some videos, but I didn't see the one he
It
said he
was
doesn't.
a day ago or something, and he showed every time when he gets into the car and starts it, it takes 40 seconds until he can start to drive. There's so many animations and and systems that says okay and the next okay, and then till finally he can drive. I mean,
So yeah,
ah,
yeah. So probably the car this has a lot of different computer modules, and they all have to boot up,
yeah,
and
and
that's like a
yeah,
normal computer. When you start it,
yeah,
you have to
exactly.
wait.
That would annoy the crap out of me. I
But
mean,
Tesla, you
even a
can start
Kona.
right away.
Exactly, and even Hyundai Kona, when you get in the car, press start stop. There's this animation, and then there's a chime, and then you wait. I don't know, 5 seconds, and then you can go. What I want in the ID3, as is with Tesla, I get in the car, put my foot on the brake, put it in drive, and drive. It should
Mm,
work instantly,
yeah.
and I think this is what they want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, the picture what you see here with the car and those different blue zones, I think this has to do with at what range,
Yeah.
what the key
So
does.
I think when you go outside the range, the car will lock, and when you approach, it will unlock or something like that.
Yeah, but why three zones? Why not just one?
I think it's more to do with how good the reception is.
Ah,
So um, so if you're further away, it might not be able to unlock the car. But the
oh,
closer you get, the probability of it unlocking is good, better and better. I think that's what
okay,
they're trying to illustrate here.
okay, good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen it in the manual where what stuff that I like with the air conditioning that it keeps the settings when you only get
Oh
out for a
yeah,
few
yeah. Where
minutes?
was it? I made a note of that somewhere. So
That's really
basically,
amazing.
and you are very right to say that if you get out of the car just for a few minutes and get it back into it, it should keep all the settings,
Yeah. Without
climate,
having leaving it on.
yeah, climate control, whatever. If you had
Seat heater.
like heated seats, everything else. And you
He was
said, I think, in the up, not even the climate control degrees stay the same.
exactly.
Like, how is
Always
that even?
22 degrees when you get in the car.
How is that even possible? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, the e-up had a few things too. Have you noticed that to turn the climate off, you have to wait and then press again? That's totally weird.
I didn't notice that. No.
So when you start the car, you have 22 degrees and the fan is on 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then you press minus minus, and then it doesn't show any. And then when you press right away again, nothing happens. But if you wait 2 seconds and press again, then it turns the whole climate off. I don't know why, but it does that.
The e-up, not yeah, the e-up is also the Skoda iMia or I
Did he go?
whatever Citigo electric. Um, yeah, they did the whole car is cheap, and you can definitely tell by the fact that they included like a really old school radio, and you have to put your phone to see the stats of the car.
If I had the e-up in March, 2 weeks that I got it from Volkswagen as a press car, and I cannot say good enough about this car. I think it's amazing.
It's amazing for what it can do for such a small package, but
Exactly. And
um,
for me that's more amazing than a car for 100,000 euros like the e-tron, who's amazingly inefficient but charges fast and has millions of feature. When I get for 17,000 a car that can drive 200 kilometers electric, and so it doesn't have navigation, but you have your phone with you anymore. I think this is a brilliant idea with that phone holder.
yeah, but then
If
again, you have to use you have to either have a separate phone so that you dedicate it for that, or how do you take calls with your phone? I mean, I don't know.
it works, it's fine. It still works. There was
Yeah.
no problem. Somebody just said every car I've had always kept the climate setting, especially in older cars with dials.
Oh,
That's
dials.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. Stupid electric cars now. No, but that's annoying. The Kona was the same. Normal people maybe don't have the problem all the time, but when you're testing electric cars, you drive a bit, then you get out the car to set up a camera, and when you go back into the car, I don't know, a minute later, if you don't turn off the car, then it beeps at you like crazy while you're leaving the car and the ignition is on. And when you turn it off and go back, you have to put the heat on again and the seat heater on. Oh my God, it's just annoying.
Yeah, but at least the climate control should not be set every time. It should keep the memory like it's
I know, I know.
yeah, interesting.
No, but that's a nice feature what they have, that everything stays the same.
Yep,
Uh,
phone holder is amazing.
yeah, again, I think it's a great idea because everybody now has a smartphone. Everybody has it with them, and most of them use Google Maps anyways. And if you want the stats of the car, you can see it there. That they can get rid of the screen that will cost a few €100 for them. They just made it as cheap as possible, and it worked fine. I was amazingly surprised how comfortable and quiet the e-up was for that small car.
Mm.
Of
Does it?
course, back seats no room, and trunk is very deep, but narrow.
Yeah. Um, it's surprisingly quiet, but even though the car, I don't think it has a lot of like noise cancellation materials, but
I don't know, but it felt as quiet as Kona, Ionic, and Nissan Leaf.
probably also because you can't really go very quickly with that car. I think it's
I
limited to.
drove 135, and again, I think at that speed it was really fine. I was just even with normal driving, when you go 100 on a country road, it felt for that price and how small it is, it felt amazingly comfortable and quiet. It was a blast to drive the car for 2 weeks, and I used it to go to work, and for that. The car is just amazing. I plugged it in the evening at the normal socket, and I programmed the car to charge to 80%. There was a charging limit in such a small car, amazing, and to heat up at 6:30 when I go to work. It worked perfectly.
Hmm.
And when I got the car and told my wife, okay, this car can do this and this, costs 17,000 euros, she was, why are we getting a car for 40,000 euros then? And I said, I don't know. And
It's a,
then the next day she was with me in the car, and my wife is really short. She's only 1.5 meters tall. And she said the seats were the most uncomfortable thing she ever sat in because, how do I do this? So if this is the seat, so this part here was so long that when she was sitting in there, because she's so short, her thighs are short. Her bum stopped here, so she
okay,
couldn't
yeah,
sit
and
all the way in the back. And this was so extremely uncomfortable. We had for the other days we had to get a pillow in her back, so she was sitting more in the front. And that was it. Why we don't not getting the e-up.
so the bottom portion is too big basically.
Yeah, and she never had that in any other car. She drove with me in the Renault Zoe. In our car we have now, a horrible Hyundai Matrix. She was with me in the Kona. Oh my God, in the Ionic. She never had the problem, but with this car, she just could not sit in there.
Interesting.
She said her leg hurt. She was sitting totally weird. And then we got the pillow, so she was like this, but then her back was just touching the pillow, not the seat. It was also not very comfortable.
Interesting.
No, that was it. That's why we're still getting the ID3. No, I would still push for the ID3.
Yeah, you're lucky, right? I
Hmm?
mean, I'm thinking about if the car was good, then maybe you didn't have a point to make to buy the ID3.
No, I mean the main point is the range. She
Yeah,
would also understand that if we would ever do a bit of a longer trip, then of course ID3 will be way easier. Someone asking if you ever sat in the ID3. No, she has never seen it
I wanted to
in
ask
real.
as well. Maybe the seats have the same problem.
That's it's, it's possible. I don't know.
But did she sit in the e-golf?
Yes, she was in e-golf. It was fun.
So it was fine, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, she was in. I think she was almost in every electric car except for Tesla, because Tesla I had to go somewhere. But all the other cars I had at home, and I think she was in there. And she had no problem. This was the first car. I don't get
Very
it either.
strange.
Yeah, I was surprised, but she said it after a minute. What's happening here? Why can I? Maybe it's not the length of the seat. Maybe it was the angle of where she was sitting, and then the front somehow. But she said it was extremely uncomfortable. She was in pain.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so anybody else has questions? Maybe we can discuss before we. I think we spoke about all the main topics I was interested in to get your feedback from, and also the questions that people had. I think we answered. Um,
You had a few things in here that are still very interesting. So,
well,
so the dual air conditioning confirmed. That's amazing.
so I didn't realize that that was an issue. That was a question. I thought dual zone
So in when was it?
AC
I
was
think in January, Volkswagen Denmark said that the ID3 first edition will only have a one-zone climate.
mm.
People complained, and then 2 months later, they said first edition will have two-zone.
So do you think they changed it?
I think it's just a software thing.
Software thing.
I'm pretty
No.
sure that the how the air goes in all the vents is the exact same thing, and you can open and close it however you want to.
But I think for dual zone climate control, you need two separate like radiators. One has to be uh, making hot, let's say, and the other one has to be making cold. And you cannot just do it by software. I don't think you can do it.
But I'm pretty sure that all the cars have that already in there, and with software they limited it to
Oh,
one.
that can be. Yeah, that
I
can be.
think
Yeah.
because at that time when they were saying it's only one zone, and then when they changed it to it will be two zone, at that time they were already building the car for a few months, and I don't think they will change the
Mm-hmm.
production in between.
Yeah.
I was surprised too that they changed it, but I got it from Volkswagen Contact. He told me it's only one zone climate. I'm sorry, and then 2 months later, okay, we changed it. It's for sure two zone.
Well, if it was just a software limitation, then yeah, it makes sense. But if it was hardware, then it would have been a lot more complicated to do it. But um, I
Yeah, but
mean,
it's stupid.
I'm quite sure that it was just software because they can just make a change like that. It means that they just updated some software for that.
It's just stupid that it wasn't standard from the beginning.
Especially because the hardware is already there. That
Yeah.
sometimes I don't like it when automakers do this. They limit the functionality just from software, and basically the car could do a lot more. But yeah, it's just limiting. So you pay more, but the hardware is already there. So
No. I get it with Tesla and the same battery, but less range, and therefore you pay less for the car. And if you want more range, you have to pay more. They did it with the 60,
yeah,
the
the
Model
S.
S60,
Yeah.
where it had a 75 kilowatt hour battery, and if you want that, you can just pay. I get that, but with this is a first edition. This should have more features than the other. I thought that dual
E-
climate would be.
Even I would say in my opinion, even with the Tesla, where they clearly have been using the same battery in like you said, the 75 and the 60, but the 60 was just software limited. It's the materials already there.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's like you already paid for it. It's
I
just
know. I know. Then they threw it away anyways.
yeah.
Yeah, for good reason. That's, no, and the other thing I've seen in the thing is the auto recirculation, automatic
Oh
recirculation.
yeah,
That
I
is a great
I I
feature as
want
well.
to I wanted to talk about that. So the car supposedly not supposedly.
That's a good word, supposedly.
The car it seems like has like some kind of um, air quality filter, yeah. So
Somehow
air
can measure.
quality meter, sorry, air quality. So it checks the quality of the air,
Hmm.
and then that's very interesting because if there's like a diesel car that's making a lot of smoke, the car would switch back to recirculating automatically.
I mean, it has air care, so it will already filter most of it out. But if it's too much, then it will switch to if you have that setting on, it will switch to recircle in
Yeah,
recirculation
recirculating. So no, so the air just
automatically.
stays inside,
Yes.
not from outside.
But they said it in the bottom, and you can read it there. The system cannot detect unpleasant odors. So if there's I don't know, a garbage truck in front of you, that won't work.
Yeah. Also, air care,
Sadly,
climatronic with allergen filter.
exactly.
Um, so I think it measures like pollution in terms of NOx and some other particles, and then it also measures, I don't know, pollen or
I think
some.
it's just a special filter that will filter as much as possible, and if it's too much for that filter system, it will turn on that recirculation.
Mm.
I think
It's
this is
interesting. I
how
don't
it
think I
works.
saw this feature either in other cars. So.
I mean, Tesla has it with the HIPAA. What is that?
Yeah, they have the biodefense mode in the
Exactly.
Model
I think
X,
this is something
and
like this.
I think the Model S as well, but it doesn't do it automatically. You have to press a button.
That's true. That's true. You have to turn
So
it on by hand, but you can
so
always have it on,
yeah, yeah.
I
So,
guess.
but I think Volkswagen here does some kind of like they actually have some kind of sensors they use to measure the quality of the air outside to
Mhm.
be able to determine if they have to like recirculate the air or not.
We don't know, of course, what are they detecting. What is? I don't think they can detect every toxin in the world.
No, no,
So
no,
it
no.
has to do with car pollution. So I'm guessing it has to do with diesel or whatever other
Yeah,
car in front of
yeah,
you, something like this.
yeah. I mean, the
Makes me feel
sensors
great.
usually are not big. In Romania, there's a company. I mean, there are also some private people that are putting sensors that measure the air pollution in the city in random spots around the big cities, and then you can view the pollution in an online map. Um, and it's real time, it's live all the time, and this is like open source, anybody can buy, and I can put a sensor in my window and it will show up on that map, and it's live all the time connected to the internet. And the sensor itself is it's like in my hand, maybe even smaller. So it's
Okay.
I think they have something similar in the car.
Possible.
Mm.
Very possible. No, but that I think is a great feature.
Yeah, it's I don't think I saw something like that in other cars. Also, stationary air conditioning is good to have. I don't know if I think you said it in the video. It works for 30 minutes.
There were a few functions in there that were interesting. So there's the most important thing is if you have the first edition, so the smallest, you cannot uh, preheat the car without being plugged in. But if you have the plus or the max, it works. It works with the battery power, and that's weak because again, e-up can do it with battery power, and it's a
Mm.
very cheap car. But it does have a different function. It has the function when you press a button. So you get into the car is off, and you go into climate. There's a button, stationary air conditioning, whatever, immediate. If you press that, then for 10 minutes, air conditioning starts without you doing anything with the car. I don't know what that for exactly. Maybe you can get out the car and it will continue for 10 minutes or something.
So
And
it's
there,
this one on the screen right now. You have there's a like a heart shape for some reason. I don't know why it's a heart shape. So um, I think it's this one. Immediate start, and it works for 30 minutes, and it then
Ah, it
after
was 30 minutes. I thought 10 minutes.
and then after that it turns off automatically,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to turn on the car for this function to work.
Yeah. And maybe you can even get out of it. I have no idea. But, and then another feature that I don't get, there's a feature that the air conditioning climate will turn on the second you unlock the car. That was also in there. I don't know what this is for. So normally I get it. You get in the car, press the brake and put it into drive, and then infotainment system and whatever climate setting you had on will turn on. And there's a setting you get close to the car unlocks. It was it is in the bottom there. It's too bad you can't scroll. Maybe it will come later.
Oh,
Uh,
here.
uh, and it's just you unlock the car unlocks and climate will start immediately. I don't know.
So maybe the thinking is on a very hot day, you get close to the car, and
10
there's like
seconds.
10 seconds, 15 seconds until you get to the car, but it's already unlocked and it's already starting to put in like cold air. Maybe that's
but but I have to say these are the things that are interesting to me. These are features that I don't get, but at least I have the possibility. I like that. I like when they put features in there that are not a big deal. So it's not a big software thing.
yeah.
But it's something the same with the 10 minutes when you stand, that all the settings are still the same. These are things that make the car very interesting to me.
But also like you said, it was probably not very hard to implement. It was yeah, but it's like these small details that make the car feel better.
Mm. So somebody just said that preheat the car without plugged in for line 1 is now available. Maybe they changed that too. When I was in Dresden in December, I got told that the first and the plus and max, they have different climate. The one is climate something and the other one is climate pro or whatever, and only the climate pro can do preheating without being plugged in. That's what I was told. I don't know if they changed that.
Interesting.
And I don't get it. I don't see a reason why the car would not preheat without being plugged in if it's the same battery. If again, it's if then it's only a software thing.
Also, Marco said that the recirculating actually works on the camera. It sees a Volkswagen diesel and it will start the recirculation.
That's true. Only if there's Volkswagen diesel in front. Only then.
Yeah. All Volkswagen models have air care climatronic. Maybe the newer ones, all of them have.
And he says it's not automatic, and it's true. Even in the ID3 air care, you turn on and off, but the recirculation is the thing that's automatically.
Oh, so only the recirculation.
They changed it recently with dual climate. So it's very possible that now all the ones.
So they're still thinking about some changes depending on how people react to some of the
I'm
announcements.
pretty sure. I was really hoping that they will show the features of the car amazingly early, and then see how people react, and then started building. I was very disappointed to see that they showed the features of the car in September, and then 2 months later they started building, and they didn't say that they would change anything, because I was hoping for the like I said before about the heat pump. I thought that if they see the big, oh my God, how can you build a 40,000 euro car without a heat pump? I don't get it. That they will say, okay, let's put it in and make the car 500 euros more expensive, and I would be
Yeah.
fine with that.
Another thing I saw was very interesting is that obviously you can play video like from your phone, or you can like maybe put a USB stick or something. Either way, the video can show up on the 10-inch screen, and then but only while stationary. Once you start moving, the video will still be on, but only the sound. So this I think is really good if you or listening to an ebook or a podcast or anything like that, you can still hear it. But obviously, for safety reasons, I think they cannot have the
Of course.
video.
And I also already think this is something special. Yes, Tesla can do all of this, the video, but what other car can you watch video unless you do some or Android Auto with some feature somehow to
Yeah,
project your phone into the screen. Other than that, but that it just does it by itself. You don't need special software. You put your USB in there and watch a movie on the screen. I think that's awesome. And then that it
yeah,
goes on.
yeah,
That's a great feature. Again, this is something where I think the car is interesting that they put something like that they thought of it when we don't want the video when the person is driving, but let's just continue with the audio. That's just a great idea.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Same, same. I mean, I usually listen to a lot of podcasts on YouTube and also sometimes ebooks and ebooks. I mean, audiobooks. Sorry, audiobooks. And this is a really nice thing to have. Like you can just listen, and obviously a lot of the times, like podcasts, they're just people talking, not much happening on the screen anyway. And even when something happens on the screen, the really good podcasts they describe it to you, so you don't have to watch. So
No, I just think it's great. I'm pretty sure other cars, if they have that, it just stops playing. And then it
mm,
says not able to play during only when stationary, something like this.
yeah,
I find it amazing that they thought of that. Why should we stop that? He can still listen to it.
mm, yeah,
Yeah, he asked, why would you turn climate care off? I don't know. If you don't like it, you can turn it off.
yeah. Probably leave it on all the time.
Yeah, and you saw it in the manual for the climate that they have the special features.
Okay.
So and I think that's also a great idea for people who don't want to think. There were special buttons that said warm up foot area, cool foot
Oh yeah.
area, stuff like this. So usually when you go in a car, oh, my feet are cold, then temperature up, fan up to the feet. And here it's one button and it does it. And if they can do it, that you can save your own, that would be amazing.
Oh, okay. So
So I don't know, when my wife is driving, she wants this setting. So I have one called by her name, and then one for me, or one when there's something happening. I don't know. Everybody has different things that they want. This would be amazing. But since even that they did this, I think that's a great idea.
yeah, so some people might have all the time like cold feet, and really hot faces, so they always want to.
Yeah. It's I think it's great that you have so much stuff that you can adjust. I like that.
um,
Have you seen the part with syncing the mirror adjustment?
oh, I didn't understand that. Why
I
would
don't
you
know why
want
you would
to?
need that.
Why would you move both mirrors in the same direction at the same time? I
I
have.
don't think it's the same direction. I think it's the opposite. So when you have them both too close to the car that you can't see the road, and then you move the one outside, the other one goes outside as well. I think it's that.
Yeah,
If you
but
ever need that, that's
I
something
don't. I
totally
don't
different.
think you ever need that, to be honest.
I think so too. But again, I like that they put it in.
Or
Why not?
maybe if it's synchronized somehow, so when you maybe they can figure out an algorithm, so when you move, just you just check one mirror but you have it synced, and make sure to adjust that one. They have an algorithm, and the other one is should be also perfectly aligned to have good vision outside because of the
Yep.
angle of the person, blah blah blah.
I don't know how they do it. We'll see it when the car comes. I don't get it too. As in the beginning, when I sat in the car, I was a bit surprised that there are no window buttons for the back.
Oh yeah,
But
that's
but
very weird.
but after a while, I was thinking it's when I was sitting in my car, how many times do I don't look and go to the windows and I open up the back window, not the front. So this will not happen to me. How often do I open the back window by myself and not the person who's sitting behind me. Almost, yes, I do it because we have a dog in the back, and if we want air for him. But other than that, so I'm okay with that. If there's less buttons and it's just one button to say rear, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I saw the lack of back buttons, but nowadays everybody is starting to get rid of buttons and have like touch surfaces. So yeah,
There's
but
always too much, of course. Get rid of too much, and it was a main reason. I was thinking of getting the Model 3 Standard Range Plus, but this was a big reason. No speedometer in front and no buttons at all. And the other thing is the next service center is 200 kilometers away, and
yeah.
I've seen so many videos of cars having tiny defects, and I don't want to go to the service center all the time. Nah, that was for me. I didn't believe in Tesla. I'm sure they're getting better and better, and it's an amazing car. I think the Model 3 is better than the ID3 in so many ways. But for me, how I will use the car, uh, uh, ID3
ID
just
is
fits me better.
yeah. Steering wheel heating is standard in Romania. I think also in other countries as well.
In the first
For
edition,
the
it's
for the
standard
yeah.
for all. For the normal ID3, I think I saw it that it would also be standard, but when I was talking with Silke Bakshik in Dresden, she said something different. That the normal ID3s will will get a different design for the steering wheel, and they haven't decided yet back then how it will look like.
So
First edition will have
do
it.
we know? Do you know maybe a target price or a rumored price for the when once you can like order the ID3, the base version with nothing on it? What would it cost?
So we know that the small battery will starting at 30,000, and then the battery, the 58 kilowatt hours that is in the first edition, I think will start at 35 or 36, and then first edition is 40, max 50. The big battery will start, I'm guessing, at 48, 45, but mostly when you get the big battery, you also get a few features. So I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure the highest spec, biggest battery will be around the same price as a Model 3 long range dual motor, and that's too much.
Yeah, yeah. Long range, the Model 3 has so much more
Yes, so much more
power.
to offer.
Power.
I think that the ID3 will be amazingly efficient. I don't think it will be Model 3, but very close. But the biggest problem is charging.
Mm.
125 kilowatt is great. It's better than most other small EVs,
Yeah.
but 190 for the Model 3 or a supercharger 3, even 250 kilowatt.
And
That's
it's
just
250 kilowatts is for a couple of minutes though. Don't
yeah.
forget.
Still that it's even possible. And
Yeah.
and 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 if in this car you have 125, so half. So if it costs the same, why would I not get the car that
Yeah.
can charge
It's better performance,
better
bigger
performance,
battery,
all-wheel drive,
all-wheel drive. The car is
the
bigger. You have more
autopilot?
space. Autopilot. Yeah.
So the software features, updates. We don't know how Volkswagen will handle the updates. I hope there will be like Tesla that every month a new feature comes along.
Mm,
So
mm.
now we have Spotify. Now you can watch YouTube. I don't know, something like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have no
Maybe
idea.
maybe like a couple of months later, like half a year later, they allow you to use the camera from the cameras all around the car to have like a sentry mode, like they have Tesla, or just to have them use like a dash cam during.
I think the cameras in the first edition are still missing. I think the first edition has radar in the front and a camera in front, radars in the back, the left and right,
Yeah.
and a rear view camera, but no side cameras as far as I know.
Mm-hmm. But even the camera in the front and the back, maybe they will let you in an update let you to use
That's
them as
very
dash
possible.
cam cameras
They
or
have to to do something. They cannot be, hey, we have over the air updates and then no update is coming.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and if only bug fixes, it has to be something better.
Bug fixes are nice to have, but you don't see it because if you haven't seen that bug, and most of the bugs usually you don't really see it,
Mm.
hopefully. So it's
Hopefully, yeah.
like it's an update, but you don't actually benefit anyway from it. So it has to be like feature updates.
I want the same updates as Tesla. Like I said, that new features, and the same with Tesla. What they did with Regen. I mean, a few
Yeah,
months ago, the Model 3 got the Regen, so you have one pedal driving. I
yeah.
want there's two.
And
This would be
that's
nice.
they solved that from one update to another, and so many more things they did
Yeah,
in the
I, I,
last like
I
2 years since the car is like if one guy bought a Model 3 like 1.5 years ago, like today that car is completely different. I mean, a lot different, not
yes, and
completely
that's a
different.
big selling point.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I think that's part of the reason why Teslas are especially Model 3s, the newer cars, are keeping their values so good, or they're keeping their values high because it's not being outdated.
Mm.
Car is getting new features. The batteries are good. So yeah, if I think Volkswagen can learn something here from Tesla.
I hope they do, and I know that they taking. You see that in so many features in the manual, like with the start, that you get in and just drive without start stop button. I think that they learned from Tesla that this is what people like, and that's why they have over the air updates, and that's why they said it from the start when they presented the car last in May last year. It was right in the beginning over the air update for the life service life or whatever they called it. And I think this is they already working, and she even told me in Dresden that they, for example, on Spotify, they're already working on that, and it's a software thing, and it's also a copyright thing to work with Spotify and get their service in there. But I'm pretty sure they want to do that if they can, and how long it will take till they get an update. So if every month comes an update where you have a new feature that could be interesting to someone, then I'm totally happy.
Yeah. So I think that would be a very good selling point for them.
Yeah,
Um,
even if it's just a setting, I don't know. I want. I was very disappointed when they said that they wanted to make the ID3 as easy as possible. That's why they're on a region levels. But it would be nice if then in the infotainment system there would be a low region, very strong region button that
yeah.
I can do it if I want to. That would be nice.
They
Or
could.
what I told them, I want I want the feature when I put it into drive, it's automatically in B.
Yeah. So you
Some
can
people,
so you
some
can
people
set it
like
in the
those things.
infotainment to be all the time in B. Yeah.
I would like that. I said this would be my thing. Why not? It's just a software thing. You press a
Yeah.
button and something happens. So why not program it the way? And who the people who want to coast, they can leave it the way it is. You put it in drive and it is in D without any region. But for people like me who love region or are just in the city the whole time, just this would be something that I want to see. That
Yeah.
would be nice.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I think yeah, Tesla is definitely leading the
Yeah.
industry at least in this area because in other cars, if you want to have the new features or something like that, you have to buy a new car.
Well,
Facelift. You buy the facelift, and they put
yeah.
like
Yeah.
two or three more software features and maybe
Yeah.
some new colors or some new wheels.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
otherwise, you have to buy a new car. And
I
now,
mean, Hyundai did some updates on the software that did it, but most of it has to do with the map. so that the map is updated to the current situation, because the old Ionic, Kona, and whatever didn't have internet connectivity, so the map was saved somewhere. It wasn't in the it wasn't in from over the air, and at least the ID3 will have that. It gets all its map data and traffic information from the internet, but not Google Maps.
Not Google Maps. That's
No.
pretty. That's a missed opportunity because I
I
think
don't
because
I don't know what the reason is for. Maybe Google was too expensive, or it didn't work with the car. I have no idea. I
I
would have
think
loved
that's a kind of a missed opportunity because Google Maps has so much data, so much. They have opening times. They have all the restaurants. All everything's on Google Maps. You
exactly.
can find everything.
Maybe the map is not Google Maps, but when you ask something or search something, it works differently. I have no idea. I just know the screen that you see is not Google Maps. What I would have loved in the ID3 is what Polestar is doing with the Polestar 2, to have Android as your phone as your infotainment
Yeah,
system in the
it's
car.
basically a skinned Android.
Exactly. So when you want an app,
You
you
could just
get that app. But of course, not every app
not
will
every
work
app.
in the
Yeah, yeah.
car. But I don't know, if you want WhatsApp and you have a phone number with in there, I'm sure it can work somehow. Oh, you have to help me with a question here. Any idea about regular charging the ID3 at an Ionity station? What does he mean with any idea?
About regular charging. Hmm.
Does he mean if it's good to charge at Ionity all the time, or what the speed will be? So
I'm
yeah, it's
not
Google
not
Maps.
sure about regular charging at the ID. Well, it will charge at the Ionity station. It will
Of
charge at
course.
maximum
And they
of.
also already announced the prices. This is also something um, that they revealed. So if you buy the normal, sorry, the normal first edition, you have a special price for Ionity. I think 55 cents per kilowatt hour. Usually it's 79. If you have the next plus or max, you pay. No, sorry, I was wrong. No, if you buy the 100 kilowatt charging able ID3, so the 58 kilowatt or the 77 kilowatt hour battery, then you have the special price for Ionity, 55 cents. If you buy the small battery, you pay the same price as any other person who charges at Ionity, 79 cents. And when you have the recharge stuff for the car, you then can pay 10 euros per month, and then the price for Ionity is 33 cents per kilowatt hour.
You have to make your own calculations to.
I
Um,
calculated that means if you have the big battery, so the first edition battery, if you charge once your battery to 80%, it's already cheaper to have this 10 euro thing.
no, okay.
If you charge less than this, so only one time to 60%, then no. But if you charge it once, so if you do one long trip a month where you have to charge twice, it's already cheaper to get the, if you use Ionity, of course.
Yeah.
If of course, and of
Um,
course, we all know in the first edition, the first year we have 600 euros free, so 2,000 kilowatt hours
yeah,
with the
in
recharge
Romania,
app.
it's with a different company. It's not. There's no Ionity here. But there's the largest charging network. It's called eCharge by Renovatio or something like that,
Yeah.
and there's 50 kilowatt max. But yeah, something like
It's
that.
not Ionity. So with every ID3, you get now the WeCharge card, and you can charge in I think 80% or 90% of all chargers in Europe.
Okay.
And in with the first edition, the first year is up to 2,000 kilowatt hours free, or up to 600 euros. So when you go to a charger that in the WeCharge app is extremely expensive, you cannot charge as much. But they say even at Ionity. So I'm
Okay.
guessing that they're charging with Ionity the 55 cents. That means 2,000 uh, kilowatt hours. No, 600 euros. 600 euros divided by the 0.55. You can pay 1,000 kilowatt hours only if you only charge on Ionity. It's not the 2,000. It's
Hmm.
always in the small print, of course.
Marcus was saying the Zoe has Google Maps now.
I have no idea. I will get the Zoe a press car at the end in June, then I will know. I haven't seen any.
I,
There's a
s-
lot of videos about the Zoe driving, but I don't see a lot of people showing the infotainment system in detail.
I saw you can check Bjorn's video.
Uh-huh.
He did a review or whatever for the Zoe, and he did show the infotainment system. And I don't think it was Google Maps. It was quite slow, and it was like a special system from what I can
Okay.
remember.
Okay. Maybe they updated it. I don't know.
Maybe,
I
or
don't
maybe
know.
it's based on Google Maps, but it has like a different
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah,
I don't
Zoe
know.
Zoe is a bit behind. When you see all the cars coming out this year with the Opel Ampera E, Peugeot E208 that you are interested in,
Yeah,
ID3 with the small battery, they all seem to be ahead of the Zoe that just came out. I mean, 50 kilowatt maximum
yeah.
C charging, 22 kilowatt AC, yes, if you need it, but usually you don't. Uh,
Yeah,
at
in
home,
Romania
you
it's really
remember?
good because we have a lot of AC chargers.
Yeah, but mostly you do AC at home and DC on a long drive.
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's a lot of AC chargers across the country, not that many DC. So
Okay,
it's good to have a second option at 22
okay,
kilowatts. So
okay, okay. But other than that, I looked at the manual of the Zoe. I looked up a lot of videos. Renault has a great playlist about the Zoe, how everything works in the car, and then I looked up the price, and I was pretty shocked. The Zoe is around 30,000 euros without the battery. You still have to pay battery rent if you have normal options, and I mean so seat
oh
heaters,
yeah, okay,
DC charging. So not extremely great options, just a normal option.
yeah,
If you get the Zoe standard, you don't have seat heaters. You have to get the winter package, and then you have to pay for DC charging is extra. I think it was 1,000 euros so that you can charge DC.
yeah,
So I was configuring one without special wheels, without special color, and it was 29 or something thousand euros, and the battery
yeah.
was still not included.
I drove the Zoe and it was the previous version, not this one.
Yeah,
But
totally
it was
different.
with the 44 kilowatt hour battery.
Me too.
And the car is it was the car was new. It had like I don't know 1,500 kilometers, and things were like squeaking, like making noises. Like the accelerator pedal was when I pressed it, it was making like a noise, like really, yeah, like a door when it's not closing right, you know. And it was weird because it was a new car. You don't
Mm,
expect that. Also, a lot of the screw holes are exposed, um,
really, I can't remember.
especially if you go in the trunk.
Really.
Everything is just like I don't know, like a pretty cheap.
Mm. The car, I think they did an amazing job with the facelift.
Fa-
Outside, the car looks very similar. Now, of course, you have adaptive cruise control that you didn't have before. You have LED lights that you didn't have before, CCS charging. But the inside, before it was very childish. So the infotainment system was weird and laggy, and when you pressed something wasn't very great. And the most horrible thing was the instrument cluster
yeah,
with just the digital speedometer and then some animation if what how much accelerator pedal you're using. And now, what they did now, it looks like a grown-up car. It looks way better inside. You sit in there, and it feels. I haven't sat in it, but just from seeing videos, I'm way more excited to see that car. And my biggest problem with the Zoe, I had it again for 3 days from a dealership, and I had to drive it 200 kilometers from there to home, and then a few days later drove it back. And the most horrible part that there's so much plastic yes, a lot of people are complaining with the ID3, yes, and here it's too so much plastic, but also on the door. So where my elbow was, and it was in the summer, so I had a t-shirt on, my exposed elbow was on the door, and it was hard plastic. It hurt like hell. I had to always put it in here, and I'm so glad that the ID3 has a soft material at that spot.
Mm. Yeah, CCS is 900 euros
Yeah,
for the
that's
Zoe.
expensive. Wow.
Yeah, I mean
Be able to
things
charge.
things like this should kind of be standard. Yeah.
I understand it for something like Zoe, E-Up, and the i3 has it too, because at work the neighbor company has the i3 with only Type 2 charging.
I think it was only the very first i3s
That's
that were
possible.
sold.
But I
At,
get it. It's a city car, and if you say I drive in the city 20 kilometers a day and then I charge it at home, why would you pay if you say I only this is my second car, I only use it for shopping?
mm,
This is something where the same with the ID3 with the what I said before, acceleration package and everything. It's fine. If you don't need it, you can have the car for less. I'm fine with that.
mm,
That's cool.
cool. Um, Anything else that I wrote down here that maybe we should go through?
Talked about the heat pen. Yeah, this question is nice. During the test drive or when you saw the car in real life, what impressed you the most and what disappointed you the most?
Oh
That's
yeah.
great. uh, huh. But I thought about it and it was very hard. Uh,
So what impressed you the most?
I was impressed that the car wasn't as tall as I thought. I was scared because of the battery. It would be a very tall car, but it
Mm.
looks like a Golf. And for me, I thought, wow, you have a lot of space in there. It feels very roomy. I love the armrests. I think this is one of the biggest reasons why I want the car. For a long trip, the armrests sound very, very comfortable and that you can adjust it at every height that you want. I think this is what impressed me the most. And then the grip. We didn't talk about that. I had the e-Golf and also the e-Up, and both, when the road is not amazingly dry, you get spinning wheels when you floor it. And ID3, it was damp and it was perfect. And this is what I expect from an electric car. And I only saw that with Tesla and with the Jaguar I-Pace. Jaguar I-Pace is amazing when it comes to grip. Doesn't matter where you are, how the road is, you floor it and you go forward.
Okay.
Amazing. But they're all-wheel drive. That's
Mm.
the difference.
Yeah.
But here, this I have to say, this impressed me the most. Disappointed, I was, I think, with the region, that it's not as strong as I wanted to, because I'm a big fan of region.
Yeah.
That's just my thing.
I like
That's why I
Regen too.
love the Kona. Kona, when it comes to region, is my favorite car, especially with region boost. That you can press the pedal shifters and then have even more region. And I measured it stops you even more. I love that.
It's nice to have like the pedals where you can quickly adjust the regen. Like now I want it more. Now I don't need it.
Mm.
You have it like close to the steering wheel. You can always
Yeah.
adjust it, and then having one pedal driving is once you, at least for me, once I got used to it in the city,
So fast.
it's like
So fast. When you go from an ice car into the Kona and you put it in strong region and then you just take your foot off, it's what the hell? It's braking. But
but
then after an hour of driving, you realize, no, if you want to slow down a bit, you just go a bit off the accelerator. You don't go
exactly.
off fully.
I
And
think
if you
you
know
can get
that,
used to it in like a day or two. You can get used to it, and then you forget about not. You just get used to it. It's like riding a bicycle. You cannot forget it. I
and,
think.
and, and then you say, God, is this amazing? Never have to take. You always have the foot in one spot. There's no to the left or
Yeah, yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
It's the best driving I ever had. I loved the Kona. I just didn't buy it for many other reasons.
Mm, yeah.
But that was it.
One pedal driving should be standard on all cars, all
Every
EVs.
EV in the world,
Yeah.
even if it is just an option that you have to pay for it or press a button. But I want that option for every EV, and I think it's possible.
Maybe they can fix, maybe they can implement something like that in the ID3, where they apply some brake as well, because
Like I
always,
said
I mean,
before,
anyway you're not using the brake, so they can use it sometimes. And
yeah.
then also with the brakes and the regen, it goes to a stop, but
It's very
without you
possible.
having to press the brake pedal. Just
And because it's all software, it can be an option in infotainment system. If there are, I don't know, 5 levels of regen, from low regen to the strongest regen you've ever felt in your life, plus the real friction brakes. It would be nice to try all them all out and then select your preference.
yeah,
That
yeah,
would be nice.
yeah,
And this is
maybe,
something they can. This is something where I'm happy about, that it has can have updates, and maybe this can come.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
even in a year, I don't know. Whenever the people are saying
exactly.
it would be nice, or they they design the new ID4, and then they think, hey, it would be nice if this would be in there. Hey, we can send it to the ID3 as well.
Mm.
Yeah, so this is what I'm looking for.
So um, they can adopt a similar strategy to Tesla, where basically they do give you a car that's finished, but yeah, maybe they realize that they can add more stuff to it
Hmm.
later on, and yeah, they will do it.
Yes, it would be nice. I hope they do, and I hope they want to. They're making advertisement with that. It was, well, like I said before, a big thing from the start, and I hope that for them this does not mean just some fixing problems. I mean,
Yeah,
putting in more
adding
features.
adding features. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and interest some features from safety to driving feel to entertainment.
But now I ask you something else. They could, I mean, probably they can do this, and hopefully they will do this. But the infotainment system is very similar to the newer Volkswagen, all the newer Volkswagen models. So will other Volkswagen model owners not demand that their car gets new features as well?
It can be. If a Golf owner, maybe I don't know if that's possible, but if a Golf, only what you need is that eSIM
Mm.
in there, and then and maybe e-Golfs, not even e-Golf, the normal Golf already has that.
Yeah, the Golf
The
8.
only difference is do they want that, and especially do they want to implement a system that's mainly based on an electric car when it comes to consumption features, what we just said, with regen or whatever, preheating, and do they want to change the software every time when they make something for the ID3 for the ICE car?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm just theoretically, maybe people will say, well, Volkswagen is giving so many new features to ID3 owners. Why isn't it giving new features to me? Maybe I bought like a new Passat or a new
Hmm?
the newest Golf. I should be getting, and then they, I don't know,
I
will
don't know
not be.
if the new Golf has internet connectivity with the eSIM. If it has, why not?
I think it has, but maybe like you said, they have to do separate stuff for the golf, and that's separate
Of
money,
course, for
separate
every car they will
research
make
and
have to make
development.
a different. Even when the ID4 will come out, I'm pretty sure it will have slight differences.
Mm.
So the car that you see in the front when you start up and stuff like this will have to be changed every time when you have a different car. But Tesla does it too, with Model S, Model X, and Model Y and Model
Well,
3 work as
ID4
well.
maybe will have some features relating. Will the ID4 maybe have adjustable suspension?
I have no idea. I know
Because if
it has possibility for all-wheel drive, but that's it. What I know.
all-wheel drive. So
I don't know. Did any Volkswagen ever had adjustable
yeah,
suspension?
yeah,
If
yeah,
then why not?
yeah. I think they do, especially the SUVs. Yeah,
Mhm. I think our problem as ID3 interested people is that they wanted to make the first electric car as simple as possible for them and to show to the people. So that's why first edition just have this feature package and that's it. So they can learn. They not what that's why there's no all-wheel drive, no different battery sizes from the start and all of this. But in a future model, let's say in 2 years, when I don't know ID5, I don't know what, why would it not have new features that the ID3 never had?
maybe even the ID3. Maybe they find some space in the front to make it all-wheel drive and put like a small electric motor in the front as well.
I want the ID3R. There were already speculations, of course, that it will be all-wheel drive, so the same 150 kilowatt in the back and then 75 kilowatt in the front.
Exactly.
I want that, and then with 200 kilowatt charging. This would be my car.
So you're leasing this one, and then once the R is coming out, you're switching it.
I have to see the conditions of leasing, but I was told in Dresden, and I've seen it in other videos from Spain and whatever, where they are pushing leasing extremely strong. It's very important for Volkswagen that people are leasing it. I don't know why, but that's what they are pushing very
And
strongly. And I think what they're trying to do is make it the same price as if you buy it, but bring in more packages. So I don't know, you get a longer warranty or service packaging or a tire package. I have no idea. Insurance package with the leasing. So they want that. So I think that leasing would be cheaper. And for me as a YouTuber, of course, it would be better um, if I get this first edition plus, and then after I don't know a year, you can
yeah,
configure the big
switch.
battery with all the features. I get this, or even an all-wheel drive at some point.
I don't know. I don't know about Germany. If leasing is a very common thing to do,
No.
but I lived 2 years in the UK, and over there, everybody is leasing.
Mm.
Nobody is buying cars. There's very small percentage of people buying cars.
This.
I don't know the exact percentage, but almost all the car ads on TV uh, advertise the lease price, not the buy price. When they put on like ads for new cars, they put like this is the car, how nice it is, interior, exterior, this, and then they show, oh, it's 250 a month or 300 euros per month. They don't say that this car costs 30,000 euros. They say
Mm.
it costs 300 a month. That's it. And usually they lease it for 2 or 3 years and then they give it back, and they have an option to buy the newer model or a separate model, or they can buy the car, pay the remaining portion and buy the car. But
Or
most
continue
people,
leasing.
most people they just trade it in and get the newer one, so everybody is driving the newest cars all the time.
Mm.
I don't know
Yeah.
what happens to the older cars.
Well, they just sell it cheaper, and then this or
They
something
sell
like
it
this.
to
That's the same as in the States and in Canada. They also they do leasing. In Germany, private leasing is normally more expensive than buying it. If you have a company, then leasing is the best option there is, because you can put the car into your
yeah,
company,
yeah,
and you pay less taxes. So this is
exactly.
the win-win situation. But I think Volkswagen is trying to get the leasing amount to just cheaper and better features that people are leasing. I don't know why, but this is I heard it so strongly in Dresden.
I think this way, the first owner who drives the car for 2 or 3 years pays for like 50% of the car, and then the second owner who buys it secondhand pays, let's say, 75% or 60%, and then the total is more than 100%, more than the actual car was worth if it was just sold.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's possible. Maybe it's that after a year they can present so many used cars for an extremely low leasing price. Maybe it's because of that.
Mm,
I have no idea. Or maybe they want people to jump to always to new cars,
yeah.
so that they are selling more cars for their statistics. Because if the car is once bought, it's built and sold, so it's in the statistics and it's better for the CO2, of course,
Yeah.
for
But
the numbers.
if everybody was buying cars, maybe they like the full amount of money, maybe they would sell less cars, because it's one thing to pay 30,000 euros, and it's another thing to here's 300, and every month 300, and then 3 years later maybe I don't need it anymore, I buy a new one. But it's not that much money up front, because you have to save that up, and put money aside so you can buy it. But otherwise, you just take it out of your monthly salary, and you don't really feel it that much, even though the money is basically the same.
Yeah, I know. No, but this is what I'm trying. But this I only do because of YouTube. If I would personally have the car, I would, unless the leasing is just amazing. I don't know yet.
Mm.
This should come in week. When was it? 22, I think. 21 or 22. They wanna announce prices and do final order in Germany.
Okay, so not too far away.
That's what they said before the pandemic. Maybe it's moved later. Today there was a post in our Facebook group that friends got an email where it already they were talking about the end of summer for delivery. In
Mm.
Germany, we didn't get anything since the Frankfurt Motor Show. Right after the Frankfurt Motor Show, I got an email as pre-booker from Volkswagen Germany about the features of all ID3 versions. Since then, I didn't get one email. So since September 2019.
Ooh, it's a
Yeah,
long
so
time ago.
I only know stuff from other people on Facebook on the group, or that I ask people at Volkswagen myself.
Mm.
And it seems like the Volkswagen people, some of them have no idea.
Well, it's a big company. Not everybody knows all the
Exactly,
details.
exactly. How would you know? Somebody's developing the car, deciding something. How would the other person who's in contact with customers know that already?
Yeah,
I understand that.
yeah, yeah. That's it.
But
Happens a lot of the time.
yeah, but then I would like to hear. I don't know. I have to ask, and I get back to you later.
Mm.
Because I had a post on the Facebook group as well where they said ID3 will have a roof rack.
Mm-hmm.
Was an
Somebody
email
posted that.
from Volkswagen Germany saying to a pre-booker ID3 will have a roof rack, and then in the manual it said the exact opposite. And I don't think, like you said before, every car that you know can have a roof rack. This is something special, so I don't think they copied it
Mm-hmm.
into that manual. And it says
Yeah.
it specifically. The car is not
Yeah,
designed
yeah, yeah.
with a roof rack. I don't think they put it in. I don't think they can change that after planning the car. This is done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but somebody told that person that it will have a full roof rack.
Exactly. He contacted Volkswagen in Germany as a pre-booker and said, "Can it have a roof rack?" And they said yes.
Maybe they just contacted like a local dealer and they didn't.
No, so it was through the website.
Okay.
I mean, I have a weird problem too. That when I go to my registration page, you can still go to where you registered for a first edition, and then you log in, and then you see at what status you are, and it's still at world premiere and not at configuration. But when I see that what I ordered or pre-configured, it says the right car, line 2 in white, in exterior, but the interior color is wrong. I want it white with light gray, and it says dark gray with black or something.
Mm.
And then I emailed them, hello, I said it in white. They have paper here, and they wrote me back, yes, you are confirmed for white. This is true. What you see there is wrong.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Okay.
Little problems.
Well, it's been 3
3 hours.
hours.
Yeah, talk a lot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, no, no. It's a very good information, and I didn't even notice that it's been 3 hours. I just saw what the time is. So, um, yeah. But it was very nice conversation and a lot of information, and
Yeah, I like it too.
hopefully, I don't know, maybe we answered some questions, maybe we
Yeah,
discussed some
hopefully.
interesting topics.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely, thank you for coming and accepting the invitation again.
Thank you for having
Um,
me.
yeah. What else is there to say? If you have pre-ordered the ID3, or you're interested in buying it in the future, there's a link to a Facebook group. It's quite big. How many people are there?
A bit over 1,000.
Like a
And
thousand people there,
and,
and
and
all
it's
over
all
Europe.
because of the Denmark thing.
Sorry.
It's all because of the Denmark thing. So
Oh,
when
a
on the
lot of
Facebook
lot.
group somebody posted from Denmark those problems, and then I made a video about it, and then it got posted in on Inside EVs and whatever, and then the people said, "Hey, Facebook group information," and then they all went for it. That's why we have before that we had like 200.
So yeah, like a thousand people there, and maybe growing every day probably. So if you have like questions and maybe you're thinking about buying the ID3, I'm sure a lot of people can help over there. You'll find a lot of interesting
They
topics and
post everything. When Volkswagen is posting anything, when somebody is seeing the ID3 on the road,
yeah,
it's there.
it's a
When
lot
Jürgen
of
Stockmann is twittering something about
yeah.
the
I
ID3,
saw the
it's
Twitter.
there.
Yeah. There's a lot of activity, so make sure to go there if you haven't already, and yeah, follow, or maybe if you have questions, I'm sure someone will answer.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm
Yeah,
surprised. In the beginning, it was a bit sometimes a bit rude when people were there that liked the Tesla better and then said, I like the Tesla better. They got attacked by people that were Volkswagen fans. But then I intervened and made a video on Facebook and said, come on, chill out.
yeah,
Somebody can like Tesla, somebody can like Volkswagen. Let's have ID3 discussion. Nobody is saying ID3 is a crappy car without any reason, and nobody is saying ID3 is the best car in the world without.
yeah.
So chill out. And since then, it's totally fine.
Good. So yeah. Otherwise, Chris, thank you again. Check out if you haven't already his YouTube channel, Battery Life. Um, and I'm Norbert, and thank you for watching. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.